Swartz Creek School Board meeting. We'll call the, I'll have you call order, Sue, roll call, please. I know we're kind of late, so.
Present.
Kim Winter,
Present.
Chuck Melkey,
Here.
Autumn Henry,
Here.
Okay, that meets the quorum requirements. I wanted to make sure we had enough people to start. We'll do a pledge of the flag, and I have a couple comments before we go into public comment. So with everybody stand. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. I'd like everybody to remain standing for just a short 30 seconds in remembrance of the 4 service members that were returned to the United States from overseas, from the Middle East, that died in action. Thank you. We'll go into public comment in just a moment. I want to introduce Miss Erin North is here. Please raise your hand and stand. And so everybody, we hired this young lady a few weeks ago now, and she will be our new curriculum director. So at break time, I encourage everybody to shake her hand and meet her and have a conversation if we do have a break. I'm hoping the meeting will be an hour and a half, but that never happens. So, yeah. It's always sort of, thank you, Ms. North. And also, would you introduce our, John?
He's so funny.
Yeah, I know we introduced him the other day, but John's here. He's our Human Resource Director. And I encourage everybody from the staff and public to please make contact with him either after the meeting or if we have a break. Thank you, John. Okay. This portion is open up to public comment now. It's agenda specific, so hopefully everybody has an agenda. You have 3 minutes. Travis will run the clock at 3 minutes. And we ask you to please be polite and cordial and go ahead and please step up, state your name and address. And you have 3 minutes on agenda items, specific items. Okay, we'll move on. Thank you. We'll have approval of the agenda first. We changed that last week, I believe. We changed it up a little bit and had the consent agenda split off from that and the approval of the agenda, if everybody recalls that. So any comments on the agenda? None? Kim? Ken, good? Okay, I need a motion for approval of the agenda.
Motion to accept the agenda as presented.
Thank you, Ken. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Ms. Henry. Any discussion? Good. Sue, roll call, real quick, please.
Kim Winter,
Yes.
Autumn Henry,
Yes.
Chuck Melkey,
Yes.
Ken Engel.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. We'll go into the consent agenda now. Does anybody have any corrections there, or will they approve it as it's written?
I'll motion to approve.
Motion to approve the consent agenda by Ms. Henry. Support. Supported by Ken. Any discussion? None? Okay. Sue, roll call vote again, please.
Andrea Fick,
Yes.
Kim Winter,
Yes.
Autumn Henry,
Yes.
Chuck Melkey,
Yes.
Ken Engel.
Yes.
Motion passes. Thank you. Next, we'll go on to SCEA employment. If Ken, you can take over and tell me, Ken J., who you would like to introduce and for approval.
I'm going to introduce Becky Trent to start us off.
It is my pleasure to stand before you tonight and welcome 3 new dragons to our teaching staff at the K-5 elementary level. So I am going to start with Kayla. So this is Kayla Cooper-Winkler, and Kayla brings more than 15 years of educational
Okay,
Sorry.
that's all right.
I'm loud, I'm a teacher. So I would like to bring before the board Kayla.
Hello, Kayla. Step up. Give us maybe a minute dissertation about yourself and why you want to come to Swartz Creek. And there may be some questions from board members, so thank you.
Sounds good. So something that stood out to me about Swartz Creek and why I wanted to come here is your commitment to students, both academically and socially. I appreciate that Swartz Creek focuses on not just the academic side, but the whole child and teaching kids how to be good humans. And I appreciate the sense of community that is here in Swartz Creek and am looking forward to building relationships with students and staff across the board.
Okay, thank you, Kayla.
Yes.
Does anybody have any questions for Kayla? None? All right.
I move that we hire Kayla Cooper Winkler as a new teacher.
Okay, there's a motion to hire Kayla Cooper Winkler. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay. For fifth grade teacher, and you will be assigned, at least tentatively, to Gaines Elementary.
Yep.
Okay. Is there a second? Support. Support by Ken Engel. Any further discussion? Okay, Sue, roll call vote, please.
Andrea Fick,
Yes.
Ken Engel,
Yes.
Chuck Melkey,
Yes.
Jenny Walgast.
Yes.
Kim Winter,
Yes.
Autumn Henry.
Yes.
Six
Okay,
yes.
motion passes 6-0. Kayla, welcome. And just
Thank
please shake
you.
everybody's hand. Welcome, Kayla. Thank you. Yes, ma'am. Okay, thank you, Becky.
Yeah.
You have another
Well, I do.
candidate? Yep, go ahead.
Yep,
Are
I'm
you,
gonna-
are you doing them all tonight?
I'm going to do them
For all the
Yep.
elementaries?
Yes.
Okay.
So
Yep, go
we
ahead.
are now going to switch over to Moorish, new
Okay.
hire. So Erin, come on up. Erin made an excellent impression during the interview. We believe she will be a great addition to our teaching staff. She demonstrated a strong understanding of elementary education and has a genuine passion for supporting academic growth. So this is Erin Kaiser, and she is being recommended for the fourth grade position at Moorish Elementary.
Okay, thank you. Well, Erin, you had the benefit of listening to your protege right before you. So just a short dissertation about why you wanted to come to Swartz Creek and why you chose us, and then there may be some questions from the board.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, so I just moved into Swartz Creek about a month ago now. My fiance and I bought our first house together. And so I was really excited when I saw that there was openings for upper elementary in Swartz Creek. Previously, I was teaching in Weberville and living in Howell, so I had like a 25, 30-minute drive, and that could feel kind of disconnected at times just from the community. So I was really excited to be able to live and teach in the same community. I feel like I'm just going to feel a lot more connected and be more involved with after-school activities to support the kids, and I think it'll just be able to help me put more roots down in the community, and I'm just really excited to be here, so.
Well, thank you, Kayla. Good answers. And any of my fellow board members have any comments or questions? None? Okay, I'll entertain a motion.
So moved to hire Erin Kaiser.
Okay, motion by Andrea Fick to hire Erin. Any second for that, or?
I'll second that.
And supported by Jenny. Any further discussion?
Kim.
Oh, I'm sorry, Kim. I apologize, Kim. Any further discussion? Okay, roll call vote, Sue.
Chuck Melkey.
Yes.
Ken Engel,
Yes.
Autumn Henry,
Yes.
Andrea Fick,
Yes.
Jenny Walgast,
Yes.
Kim Winter.
Yes.
6 yes. Congratulations.
Thank you, congratulations. Congratulations and welcome. Thank you. Okay, Becky, you have one more?
I have one more.
Yes, go ahead.
Third and final person I would love to bring before the board tonight is Brittany Evans. And Brittany is being recommended for the fifth grade position at Syring Elementary. We believe that Brittany will be a valuable asset to our teaching staff. She demonstrated a passion for teaching, strong communication skills, and we believe she will make a meaningful impact in Swartz Creek. This is Brittany Evans.
Hi, Brittany.
Hi, how are you?
Okay, give us, a short dissertation, and thank you for coming and considering us.
The reason why I'm interested in Swartz Creek is because I've had the privilege to be a community member, and this is where my children go as well. So I've had the privilege to also be a parent as well. So I have both things under my belt, which is really nice. Being part of the community, I'm also able to see everything in the parent side of it as well. And I've had the privilege to work really one-on-one with the teachers and with the principals as well. And it's been an amazing experience to see the one-on-one that we've been working with my children. And it's been so beneficial. And to see that and be part of the community and be able to make that impact, I would love to be part of that community and just make that impact here as like I've in other communities as well. And like I said, this is my community. This is my home. We've lived here for 5 years, and I love to make that impact in my students too. Plus, how can I compete with the two ladies that came up here already? So, I mean.
No, great answers. I love teachers that live in our community. It's not always possible, but it's a bonus, I think, for the community if they live in the community and teach here. Yep, so thank you. Any further discussion or questions by board members? No? Okay,
I move that we hire Brittany Evans as a new teacher.
motion to hire Brittany as our Cyrene Elementary teacher. Go ahead, Jenny.
Okay, I'll support.
Supported by Jenny Walgas. Any further discussion? None? Roll call vote, please, Sue.
Kim Winter,
Yes.
Chuck Melkey,
Yes.
Jenny Walgast,
Yes.
Autumn Henry,
Yes.
Andrea Fick,
Yes.
Ken Engel,
Yes.
6 yes.
Motion passes. Thank you. Thank you for joining the district. Thank you. Okay, great. That takes care of all our elementary teachers. I believe we have one from the middle school.
Good evening, members of the Swartz Creek Board of Education. My name is R.J. Kaplan. I am the principal of the middle school. Tonight, I bring before you Taisha Cox for consideration of employment at Swartz Creek Middle School as a math teacher. Tisha, come on up here. Tisha has a Bachelor's of Science from the University of Michigan in Social Science. She's gone on to MSU, go green, with a grad certificate in youth development. She's further gotten a master's in a Master's of Arts from the University of Michigan in Master's in Education, right? And then also is pursuing her ed leadership from U of M as well, currently for a specialist in ed leadership. Mrs. Cox is a student-centered math educator, over 8 years of experience in the Flint and surrounding Genesee County schools. She's skilled in building strong classroom cultures, delivering rigorous instruction, and supporting growth through data-driven decisions. So it's very exciting to be able to find a candidate of her caliber, especially in math this time of year, and have the kind of passion she does to teach all kids. So therefore I present her to you for your consideration for employment. Taisha?
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Tisha. Just go ahead and give us a little dissertation, and there may be some questions, but thank you.
Absolutely. Good evening, Swartz Creek board members, staff that are present, community members, and people that are watching online. I am coming to find my school home. I am looking for a place where I can not only teach, but learn and grow as an educator. As RJ said, I love learning. I'm always in school, but I also love to teach. And I feel like this is the place where I'll be able to do both. I've met with people in the math department. They're very welcoming, so I've learned a lot already. And I'm looking to be a part of the legacy that you have here and contribute to it. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Yes.
Great speech. Does anybody have any questions? None? Okay, I'll entertain a motion.
So moved to hire Taisha
Yes.
Cox as
Taisha.
a middle school teacher.
Motion on the floor by Andrea Fick,
I'll second.
seconded by, was that Kim? Kim, sorry. Any further discussion? Okay, roll call vote, please, Sue.
Chuck Melkey,
Yes.
Autumn Henry,
Yes.
Andrea Fick,
Yes.
Ken Engel,
Yes.
Jenny Walgast. Oh, sorry. Kim Winter,
Yes.
6 yes.
Okay,
Congratulations.
Motion passes 6-0.
Thank you.
Congratulations. Congratulations, Amity. I went to for a few years. It was a good school. Yeah, it was. I don't know now, but yeah, no. Thank you very much. For all the SCA employees, you're more than welcome to leave. We do this at the beginning, so you guys don't have to sit through the boring meetings. So if you'd like, you're more than welcome to be excused. And congratulations, and do a great job for us. Thank you. You don't have to. You just, it's an option thing. A lot of people don't.
Run while you can.
Yeah, the next 2 or 3 hours of boring talk, but I said an hour and 45 minutes. I'm being optimistic.
Aaron and I have
You can do that.
oh, yeah.
I trim
Their
it.
certifications aren't checked.
Oh, they will.
No, sounds good.
I just want to make sure that those are.
Here, you can have these 4 copies right here. I put them up there as I get them. Okay. All right, we'll move on with the rest of our agenda. We'll have the superintendent report. Go ahead, Ken. Whoops, sorry, you're drinking. Go ahead.
That's okay, just a little bit of coffee.
go ahead.
Keeping going.
Yeah.
Often I sit up here and give an update in terms of what's going on within our buildings, its classrooms, but wanted to spend some time right now to talk about our 9 different sports that have been putting forth some effort this summer in terms of getting ready for the upcoming school year. We have everything from girls golf, spending 2 days a week, once at the driving range, once at the golf course, getting ready. Enrollment is up in terms of interested girls on our golf team, so that's always great to hear, finding some young athletes looking to try something new. Our cheer team has been extremely busy, not only at competitions, but also training for the upcoming year. They just had a competition where they won the costume contest at the Frankenmuth 3-day camp that they went to. So it's always great to see some of those on social media of what they were able to do. Our varsity football has been focusing not only on our players, but our coaches throughout the summer. They've hosted youth camps, high school camps, participated in 7-on-7s. Looking forward to attending a camp up in Alma for our student athletes. Soccer team, focusing on conditioning since June. Spending some time outside running, getting ready for the upcoming season for our boys. They're working on bringing not only the boys in, but maybe some girls in to have some additional kicker rounds for them to get involved and be out on the turf together. Our wrestling program's been involved, and we even had one of our athletes get involved in a wrestling tournament that was nationally ranked in terms of what he was doing, so it's great to see. Our girls basketball's been involved, working with 26 to 27 players in grades 6 through 12. So increasing that opportunity for some of our young athletes to get involved. Continuing that summer development and practices before the Gaylord team camp. Our volleyball team's been extremely active with summer practices, competing in in a volleyball tournament. Juniors and seniors participated in a joint practice over at Kersley, and they're looking forward to that upcoming season and tryouts. Boys basketball has been involved at the cage, multiple teams at the cage, 2 at the varsity level, 1 at the JV level, and 1 at the freshman level. So 4 different basketball teams participating in some summer activities for them to get involved and ready for that upcoming season. They've spent some time at a Grand Valley shootout with 2 teams up there, as well as the D-Zone in Macomb, a camp in Albion, as well as looking forward to some June competitions and July workouts at the cage. Our last one would be our cross-country team with summer practices held Monday, Wednesdays, and Thursdays, 8 a.m. on the track. Obviously with some heat as well as some air quality, there's been some adjustments for all of those. Very fortunate as an athletic department here with the cage. I did speak with our athletic director as soon as we had some air quality alerts come up in terms of transitioning some of those summer sports into the cage. So we're able to shift and make some adjustments to accommodate all of our athletes from there. Just wanted to commend them in terms of their work. Obviously, we have many other things. We had our archery team most recently in a competition. We have other things happening within our performing arts and our band getting ready for the upcoming year. Just really excited to see the dedication that the students put forth to hear about the camps, to hear about the training. Personally, I have a high school athlete, and to see them get up every morning and dedicated, just build some of that routine in their lives, and I just wanted to honor them today in terms of putting forth that effort for that upcoming season.
That's it? You done? Oh, okay, it's short and sweet. Anybody have any questions for our superintendent? If it happens, great. Okay. Anybody down that end? We good? Okay. Thank you, Ken. All right, we'll go to board subcommittee reports. We'll start out with policy committee of the whole. Autumn?
Okay, we had Policy Committee of the Whole on Monday, July 13th. It was called to order at 4:56 by myself. The attendees were myself, Jenny Wolgass, Carrie Germain, Ken Jazarek, RJ Kaplan, and Kim Winter arrived a little late. And then from the public, we had TJ Heck. The agenda items were the proposed handbook changes for 26-27. There was a couple typos found. We discussed updating calendar and bells. Discipline is still being worked out. And then there's a lengthy discussion, and that was my fault, on homework is not counted towards grade, towards the grade. There was no public comment, board comment. A question was asked when these were going to be brought for board action, and it will be August, dependent, first or second meeting on when the discipline and other corrections are made. The next meeting will be Monday, August 17th at 5 at 8354 Cappy Lane, and the meeting adjourned at 5:53.
Okay, thank you for your report. Fellow board members, any questions of Autumn? I do have one. I'll wait till they're done.
I do. Where was the homework topic at?
That was K-12 handbook. The big one. I don't know what part, but I think page 47, if I'm going off memory.
And we don't want to count homework towards the grades.
I was baffled. I guess I didn't understand why that would be a thing.
Well, not to beat the proverbial dead horse, but if our test scores were a little higher, maybe I could entertain that. But with our test scores where they're at, I don't think homework should be an option. I think it should be mandatory, and it should also be graded as part of their grade. You could probably pull 10 people on a corner, and not 9 of the 10 would agree with me. So, and that should, I'm not going to say K through 12, but first grade through 12th grade, that shouldn't even be a topic.
Yeah. Like I said, I don't know if it was just something that was brought to my attention, and if it's able to be changed, I think that it should definitely, be a requirement and be applied towards something.
This goes back to graduating with a D-.
Yeah.
You graduated, but I'm not sure that's a stellar performance on anyone's part. So,
Yep.
well, if it comes, we'll address it, but if it not only should be counted, it should be put in the handbook that it's gonna count, and we can allow the staff, or we can decide ourselves probably to be on the safer side, because they can make it count as 1% of their grade, which would not be counting at all. So maybe that's something we decide as well, what percentile of grade it's gonna be.
I was under the impression, and Andrea, you had a student here more recently than me, but I was under the impression that I was told by my student that the homework sometimes wasn't even looked at by the teachers. They could do it or not. I mean, and then I don't think that's right either. They shouldn't be able just to hand something in. It could be anything.
And my recollection is that my kid had missing assignments and that hurt his grade. So, but I also wasn't that parent that I didn't micromanage his assignments either. So when I did look, and a lot of what I hear from parents or teachers is the kids do the homework and then they don't turn it in. So my understanding is it was looked at in the past, that homework didn't count, and kids wouldn't turn it in. They would be in their locker, it'd be in a book, and there was a lot of that disconnect. I agree, they should do, I don't want them to have mass amounts of homework. First through fifth grade, I don't really care, like my kid, you know what I mean? Like, that's not as prevalent as when they get to the older grades. If it's assigned by the teacher, it should count for something, right? If the teacher's assigning homework, it should make a difference in their grade. Otherwise, they're never gonna turn it in.
So one of the things that we talked about in the committee was the fact, and it actually says this in the handbook, is so where the homework is taken into consideration is the creek score. So in addition to like your normal grade, you also have your creek scores, and so not turning in homework, and it wasn't performance on homework, it was the fact that you were turning in your homework, I believe, that affects your creek score, which can affect things like eligibility for athletics and other things. So and the creek scores are part of the report card. They're just, from what I remember, because it's been two or 3 years since my kid was bringing home report cards from the district, but it was part of their grade, but it was on the report card, but it was not necessarily part of their grade for the class. Each class had the creek scores, but it was kind of separate from their like academic grade.
Yeah. So it's like separate from GPA is what you're saying?
Correct.
It's like a citizenship grade is what we used to call it.
Yep.
Back in my day.
Yep.
And it was also, I thought that, okay, one, I have an issue with that because you brought up in the subcommittee meeting too that that's not defined anywhere in the handbook, but it's being used as a tool to grade homework. That was an issue, and you don't, not every letter. So you still get a creek score in every class, you just don't get it 5 letters or whatever, but, yeah. It doesn't apply towards your GPA, and I just have an issue with that.
All right. We'll move on to the treasurer's report. I'm sorry, we'll do bond first, Jen. So Jenny, go ahead with bond.
Okay. So we had the bond committee on July 14th at 3 p.m. Present were Chuck Melke, myself, Ken Engel, Ken Janzarek, Jamie Cowan, Travis Smith, Bill Loader, yeah, can't read across our straight, sorry guys. All right, Suzanne Carlson, Sydney Schultz, Aaron St. Dennis, and TJ Heck from the public. So we called the meeting to order at 3:18. We had a bond update by AUK. They are currently working on, at Deke, they were just ongoing construction. They're doing some underground piping. In Gaines, they have the kitchen demolition started. For the high school and the middle school, the high school media center windows have been replaced. They're retiling the restrooms, and they're working on the roof. In the middle school, the back drive by the VLC has been redone. They're doing some concrete work in the restrooms, in the choir room, and they're working on ceiling and lighting. As far as design and planning work, design and planning for the K-5 2027 work is ongoing. They were going to be reviewing that with admin, I believe Wednesday last week. They were also going to be discussing the middle school pool renovations at that time. So I'm assuming that we'll hear more about that probably next month. One of the vendors, Spalding D. Decker, they were the ones that came out and did the survey of the vacant land near Elms. So they brought to our attention that there were some kind of zoning anomalies just as far as how the land was legally broken up. And they just brought it to our attention that we might want to fix that. That's just an FYI kind of a thing. And let's see, so public comment, we had a question about when the PAC would be available for the drama students. They expect it to be ready for inspection around August 14th, but that doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to be open right after that, just in case they have to do any work
identified by the inspection, so there's no exact ETA for that one. We also had a question about statements made about bond projects going over budget, so we had some discussion about that, and basically just how to define over budget. So we also had some committee comments just about the pool, and basically what information was presented to the 2024 Bond Steering Committee while they were making their list of projects, whether they kind of knew the extent of what was going on with the middle school pool. We don't have any board action items for tonight, and we adjourned at 3:55 PM. Our next meeting is August 18th. Any questions?
No, thank you.
I have a question about the pool. So you said before they were going to discuss it the next day. Who was discussing it the next day?
They had some additional information, so I believe Suzanne had additional information, and she just said she was going to discuss it with admin the next day. They had some kind of a meeting and that was already scheduled. They were going to be discussing work for next year and the pool.
Mr. Janzrak, do you have anything on that from the 15th?
There was a discussion, and Suzanne's put together a report that we'll be sending out to all of you in regards to the scope of work from French side in terms of what would need to be done.
Okay, so we'll get that soon. Thank you.
Just a little addition to yours, was there, if it can be located, was there anything from the 2018 bond in reference to pool? If it's available, throw it with the, what was it, 2024 bond, right? Because that's been neglected for years, decades, not just 2 years. It didn't get in that condition overnight. I'd like to see what, when people were paid to do an evaluation of the buildings, I would like to know what their comments was on the pool back then. Thank you.
One more question. When they were mentioning the parcel that needed to be, the two separate parcels, were they talking about the one we just bought, the 10 acres? And they want us to combine the two 10-acre parcels into one?
So we were supposed to get that information and we did not. So there was a little bit of confusion. I know they at first made it sound like it was the new parcel, and then towards the end of the meeting, they popped up something on the screen real quick, and I believe it actually might have been to do with actually Elm's property, something to do with where the bus loop, the additional parking, the additional entrance and the bus loop that was added a couple years ago. I don't know if they purchased additional land and they just never consolidated everything into one parcel, but the legal description of one of those two chunks, of one of those two areas is actually, there's 3 different parcels instead of just one. And like I said, they originally said that they originally made it sound like it was the new parcel that we purchased that was south of where Elms is, and they came back and popped something up on the screen and I believe it looked more like it was actually where Elms is rather than the new property. So, but Jamie, I believe, might have that information.
So they just think we should make all 3 parcels should be the same address. I mean, that's not a big deal. I mean, it's.
They just said, it was something that they noted. It is not anything that we need to act on. I think it was about $3,000 to file all the paperwork to consolidate them. Because we're not paying taxes, it doesn't make any difference. But it was just an observation that they made that they wanted to bring to our attention, and just kind of suggested that if we wanted to kind of clean that up and make that all one parcel, that was a service that they could provide.
It'll probably help them if we do any future work on that new parcel, that they all have the same address and they're all looped in the same.
That would be a discussion for that time, I would think. Unless there's a plan, what if nothing is ever done with that parcel, and we want to sell it like the property on, what was that, Moorish and Hill? But, yeah.
We should.
You should.
Yeah, that
plan.
parcel, just for clarification, you mind, Jane?
No, go.
French gave us some erroneous information. They said that the new lot we bought, the 10 acres that we bought about 5 years ago, was split into 3 lots. that was actually only one lot. And the 3 lots they were talking about, as Jenny said, had the north and south bus loop is one and 2 separate lots, and the school itself on a separate lot. Whoever did that was well before our time. They said we should combine those, which I think we will do soon, and leave that other lot the way it is till we decide exactly what we're gonna do with it. So is that fair to everybody?
No, that makes sense. I was just asking for clarification on what
all right.
parcels you were talking about. Thank you.
Yep, no worries. It bled into building and operations, that's all. So thank you, Jenny, for your report. Mr. Kim, E. Treasurer's report.
Finance Committee met Administration Building on July 14th from 3:55 to 5:50. And attendance was Janzarek, Melky, Loader, Smith, Walgas, Cowan, and Heck from the public. We started out with audit. Alan Gamble of Lewis and Knopf gave a presentation basically about the 25-26 school year audit. It was pretty simple information, and they have started that process for the audit. There was some conversation there, and that I had with Alan later this week. It's not on my notes, but later this week, last week, excuse me, I had a conversation with him in reference to the stipends, and would they be something that would be brought out in the audit? And I could never explain it as eloquently as he did, but the answer was no. It's not part of the audit. So something that I think sooner than later, he suggested we hire Plant Moran. And if we were interested to hire Plant Moran and have them come in and do basically, my terminology, a forensic audit of maybe payroll for the last 2 or 3 years of wherever we thought these problems lied, and see if there was anything that we had missed. But he said they would not be, he said the only thing that he would comment on is that there may have been some errors in the checks and balances within the office that shouldn't have gotten through. So he said he would comment on that, but he would not look into the actual financial end of it. So that's something at our next finance committee we might want to chat about. Moving on, board actions. Committee agreed to approve the collaborative classroom PD to the tune of $41,000. Approve the Long King contract. This is year 3 of the 3-year agreement. So all we're really doing is co-signing year 3. The contract's already in place. Under financials, the June 2026 budget review was okay. Per Jamie, the board should receive the 25-26 year-end final budget August of 2026. So basically by the end of next month. Grants, the new GSRP grant for a playground to the tune of $10K was submitted. We did not receive the grant. Food service was selected for an administrative review of the summer food program. It's going to take place, if I understood that correctly, on or about August 6th. This one was very confusing. So I'm going to do my best. Ken, if I butcher this, feel free to correct me. The 31A report that was filed, and it was the SRO money had to be removed as the district did not meet a 50% requirement, 50% or more requirement for universal feeding of free and reduced lunch quota. To keep this really simple, this is where if I butcher this, so stop me. Years ago, every child that wanted free and reduced lunch had to submit a form. The form had to be turned in, so on and so forth. That's not the case anymore. I guess we have toyed with it to try to get people to fill it out. Not enough of those forms were filled out, so we did not meet the 50% mark for free and reduced lunch. So therefore, using that 31A money towards our SRO program or officers had to be removed from that. Is that pretty accurate?
Accurate.
Okay. Thank you. I didn't know how bad I was gonna do with that one. Genesee Road Commission, no new school speed zone at Linden, and the Linden Road update or start times, no update. What would be on the roadway. The Genesee County Sheriff's Office, SRO quote for the school year 26-27 was verbally communicated to me by Captain Jason Murphy. Written document is still pending. In a nutshell, the high end would be 171K per deputy, and the low end would be 130K. And the way they do their contracts, they are a year-long position. There's not based on school days. So, and that wasn't something that I found entertaining. I don't need someone here when the building's vacant, but that's just my thought. At-risk inquiry, there's no update. Another topic that came up, and I think Ken addressed this, there was 4 board members that served for part of the year in 2025. If anyone's interested in their names, it was Jarvis, Engel, Bouchard, and Walgast. And we received half a stipend, or thereabouts. And the way our policy reads, there is no half year, it's the full year if you're a board member. So that, Ken is going to address that. And the same topic, pool inquiry, Suzanne at French is working on it for the current situation. And I am still strongly encouraging that I guess if I would like all 7 of us to go at the same time, for the simple fact that I would like to watch everyone's faces and get their opinions as we look at things, not as we remember them when we come back here. And if that means the public has to tag along, so be it. I mean, if you're that bored and you want to tag along, feel free. But I think we should go as a group. And if we do as a group, we have to invite all of you. There are a lot of stairs. There's a little moisture. So other than that, it's pretty safe. If you're interested, whenever we do that. That's it. Any questions?
I have a question when you were talking about, when you talked to Alan from Lewis and Elm. I know that you said that they wouldn't necessarily look at stipends in their normal review. But one of the things that they did say that they do is they check processes. So, and when they're looking at the processes, would that come up?
Yes.
Like the process, so, okay, so do we have to, is that something he is going to look at to make sure that our processes are sound?
He claimed he was.
Okay.
He and I spoke for about a half hour.
Okay,
And he claimed he was.
okay.
I don't know, I didn't make the agenda. I don't know. Ken, Little Lawn King, was that anything we had to prove, or was that general information and I screwed it up?
That was, we have already agreed to that contract, and that contract goes until
So I
November.
screwed it up. My bad.
Any further questions of Ken? Need to make a motion, somebody does, if they so choose, to accept the treasurer's report.
So moved.
Support, moved by Andrea,
Support.
support by Jenny.
Yep.
Sue, roll call vote, please.
Autumn Henry?
I'm gonna pass for right now. This is,
Okay.
yeah.
All right, next person.
Kim Winter?
Yes.
Andrea Fick?
Yes.
Chuck Melkey?
Yes.
Jenny Walgast?
Yes.
Ken Engel?
Yes.
You want me to ask you again, Autumn?
Okay, yes, please, sorry.
Yep, go ahead.
I'm gonna go note.
Okay.
This is unaudited. It's not final. These payment of bills, is it, the payment of bills are gonna change? I just want that, I don't know if you note that, but I'm gonna go no for that reason, because
Okay, you can
it
stay.
doesn't look,
Payment of bills was back up in consent agenda, I think.
yeah.
Well, that's part of the
Oh.
consent. Well,
That's for the, I think she said that was for the checking.
yes, for the current
Wait.
bills.
Yeah,
She has a right to do that. She voted no and gave a reason why. So noted.
it's just,
Motion passes 5-1.
yeah, these are, sorry,
Okay, we're gonna move on. Okay, I'm gonna read the
it's a summary.
Academic Achievement Committee of the Whole. It was prepared on 7/13 by Carrie Germain. Present, it was at 4:05 PM on 7/13/26 at the admin building. Present was Carrie Germain, Jenny Walgas, Autumn Henry, who arrived a little late, Ken Janzurek, and public member TJ Heck. Agenda items. Meeting was called to order, as I said, at 4:05 PM. First agenda item, past academic achievement presentation discussion. Ken Janzurek asked those in attendance to describe the types of presentations and information shared and discussed during our previous academic achievement meetings, and the group responded with a variety of topics, including educational tools, assessment, pilots, implementations, updates of NWEA, curriculum pilots, selection, implementation, and funding, e.g. math bridges and literacy. Data and analysis review, example, comparative fall data, winter data, etc. Plans for corresponding professional development for a new and updated curriculum, course catalog review and updates, handbook review. That was the second agenda item. Third agenda item. What does the group want as we engage with our new executive director of curriculum? Instruction and continuous improvement, question mark. Consistency in data reporting, interpretation, and tempo. Sustaining the professional development plan, continue school improvement committees, attendees discuss opportunities to share curriculum updates and implementation with families and finding ways to support them. They also discuss communications regarding MTSS, Tier 1 instruction, professional learning communities. STEM education opportunities were also discussed, as was the opportunity to highlight and provide skill trades such as construction. Ken Janzurek suggested creation of videos for PLCs to show process and purpose through storytelling. There was a brief discussion about implementation of instructional rounds similar to grand rounds in the medical field. I guess I don't understand that one, but what's grand rounds? Oh, medical rounds. Oh, is that typos? Okay. Medical rounds in the medical field. Public comments. TJ Heck suggested a map of curriculum implementation displaying the big picture in infographics to support parents. She also recommended a PD calendar for curriculum. Additionally, she posed questions about the retake and homework language regarding makeup tests in the SCCS Parent-Student Handbook currently under revision. I guess I should have practiced this before I read it. She stated that she was looking forward to the new curriculum director as she was interested in the district's future approach to coaching, more or less or different with a question mark. Committee comments, committee thanked everyone for a robust discussion, and the next meeting is on August 17th at 4 p.m. at the admin building. The committee was adjourned at 4:50 p.m. I can't answer any questions there. I'm just reading a report that was submitted to me today. Anything else? Okay. We'll go on to Building and Site Committee. That was on 7/14/26, 5:51 p.m. It was at the Administration Building in the Fishbowl. I called the meeting to order, and present was Ken J., Travis Smith, Bill Loader, Ken Engel was there just partial time, Jamie C. Cohen was there partial time, and Jenny Walgas remained, I believe. Operations update. Custodial teams remain focused on deep cleaning efforts per bill, including cleaning carpets, waxing all the floors throughout the entire district. The maintenance crews completing the routine maintenance of all HVAC systems, air units. Bill reported he's upgrading lights and received a $2,184 rebate through Consumers Power. Bill is also trying to gather more grants for the high school and middle school lighting as he plans on replacing all those. He's looking at consumers to garner more grants. Ongoing coordination with all the project managers for our bond projects at all buildings remain on schedule, and everything's progressing as planned, so hopefully there'll be no hiccups at the start of school. Gaines Kitchen upgrades. Jenny already dwelled on that. The kitchen is being tore out. They're going to replace the kitchen. The case erectors have fabricated steel needed for the additional air units on the roof. Major project, the curbs for all that. And the roof is near completed. Winstall Electric has said all the electrical panels and concrete was installed. The kitchen appears to be on schedule also for the opening of the school year. Middle school power outage. On June 25th, the middle school experienced a power outage and it affected parts of the middle school for approximately 24 hours. The outage resulted in damage to several electrical motors and caused the pool tunnel to flood and damaged multiple fuses and relays, which required the pool pump to be replaced after the power was restored. It took approximately 8 hours to get rid of all the water, clear the tunnels, and make sure that everything was operational. As Ken has said, there's a lot of work that needs to be done there, and suggested that the board take a tour through there. K-5 reconfiguration, custodial staff is cleaning all the rooms as stated above and reinstalling all the furniture with new furniture as needed. Sinclair Recreation had to secure a new installer, and they are scheduled to mobilize on July 20th and begin work at Cyrene. I don't know if that started or not. You know if it started or not? Yeah, because our meeting was on the 14th, so that would have been this Monday. I don't know. Okay, I won't put you on the spot. I don't know if you knew or not. Public comments and committee comments. There was none from the public. Mary Crapo's scoreboard was brought up by myself and Bill. It's $13,000 to put a sign on the back of the scoreboard, which I think is a little high. So he's going to look into trying to buy a piece of a 1/4-inch aluminum, putting it on the back of the sign and wrapping it with our dragon. That's when you drive from the road and you see it, the back of the sign. The ice ring, I brought up that a couple months ago. He followed up on it. Ice ring for the kids would be between $25,000 on the low end, all the way up to $119,000. The reason for the span is because if you had chillers, that would cost more money to keep the ice, intact from November, December, January, February, whenever we call it good. So that's up for future discussion. A lot of it has to do tied with the bonds, if any money's left over with the bonds, but I think we got to pay attention more to the pool right now, as Ken E. said, and I wonder why it wasn't caught in the facility study. That's going to be the big question. That was a question I had a couple years ago. Next meeting date is August 18th at 2026 at the admin building. As always, to the public, the meeting starts at 3 p.m. with the bond. Usually goes to about 4 where the finance starts, and then that goes to about 5 where committee starts operational. It's open to the public if you so choose to come. We appreciate your input. Any questions of my report? None? Okay. Next thing we'll go on to is board, I'm sorry, you good? Yep, board discussion items. Security company and SRO discussion. So I'll let somebody take the floor with that on what the discussion items are for those two items. I see we have a packet here from Premier Security. And
Chuck, I think we have an error on here.
I'm sorry, go ahead and please correct me.
We have service type unarmed security, but below it says armed guard service. So I think that's supposed to be armed.
Where are we at? Oh, yeah, I'm not looking at that. I was just looking at our agendas. So go ahead and correct it, whatever we need to do. Page 2?
Yeah.
Yeah, it says unarmed security. You're right, Kim. Yes.
So this is a contract, and so that needs to go back? Okay.
I guess we'll have to put it off then until they can correct that. I'm not going to correct it for them because it's a private entity. So, good catch, Kim. And get their armed services, 26, 5 armed guards that cover Swartz Creek Community Elementary Schools. All right, so we're going to have to get on this quick because when's our next meeting, Sue? Mind me asking? I'm sorry? August 12th? Okay.
Thank you.
All right, so we will not discuss the security company because there was supposed to be all retired police officers that were armed and had a lot of additional training for all our elementaries.
Real quick,
Yeah, go ahead.
Real quick on that too. Just so it looks more up to date,
Yes.
I think we should, it should be signed by Ken and not Wayne.
Yes, we'll make that correction too.
And when we actually enter into the agreement, which it's not gonna be May 11th.
No.
I think that box needs to be checked or reworded to armed security. Wayne needs to be removed, Ken needs to be added, and a correct or at least a closer date should be there.
Well, there's a service start date that's blank, so probably ought to have that filled in too.
Well, when they did that, they didn't have a calendar. So that probably could be filled in now too.
I think they're just going off our meet date there, Ken, on May 4th. So, yeah, them are all things that are legit. So, Ken, you have your instructions to get all those updated. I do have one question. Was this sent to our attorney? Does anybody know that answer? I don't think it was. I think it needs to be sent to the attorney. Just for a quick review, I know it's hours, $300 and some, if not more, but just all the, unless somebody wants to read it and say that it's all good, I don't want to do that with all this. I can't even see the fine print.
It's probably a good idea to do that.
Okay. So also add on that we send it to our attorney so we don't get caught in any tomfoolery or trickery. Good. Thank you. All right, SRO discussion. Or you want to leave that to board action items? It's up to you guys.
This,
I think after looking at the contract, didn't we agree we were gonna go back and chat with Metro about it?
I do remember some discussion at one of our subcommittee meetings that we might reduce it to 2 officers, or what was the pleasure of the board, because we now are gonna have 5 security armed, private security officers, that will be at the elementaries. And the question becomes, we obviously keep the officer for the high school, and what do you wanna do about the middle school? That's up to you guys. I don't lean either way on it. So we can push it off to next, I guess, August, I'm sorry, Sue, it was August 12th? Yes. But I'd rather do it sooner than later, so if you want to get those details and bring them back to the next meeting, it's got to be a board action item on August 12th.
yeah, I have a few questions for
go
Metro
ahead.
too. I mean, just.
Well, go ahead, it's
for-
discussion items, not,
Yeah,
now's the time.
no, I just have a few questions
So he can direct
for
them back to
them
them, yeah.
before,
Yeah.
like, it was my understanding that once the city issued, and I'm gonna butcher this, the citation ordinance for, physical fights, vape pens, a bunch, some different ones, that the purpose of SROs or officers in the buildings was to enforce some of those, to keep fights and, drugs, I guess, out of schools. And just from speaking with the public, that's not happening. So those are some questions that I have for them, maybe before, just to make sure, if we're gonna have armed security, or, because it's basically the same thing in my opinion, is if they're not writing citations, what's the difference between having an armed security officer in the building?
Well, I've heard 2 different stories on that. One, I agree, that's what I've been told, that the civil infractions that the city put in place were not being written. However, on the other side of that coin is, I don't believe the officers were being told by the administrators that there had been a fight to write the citation. So it's, not that I'm trying to stick up for them, but if that is accurate, then that is more of a problem with our administrators than it is a problem with the police. So I think that's a question that has to be answered. Because if that's what we're going to do, then it would be our administrator's job to notify them and go, hey, we had a fight, we want the civil infraction ordinance, da-da-da-da-da-da-da. and I will say this much. For the 8 years I was at Linden, the administration come and got me on the vaping. That was what we wrote appearance tickets there for. They came and got me. And it was basically for, the way they had it written in their handbook, it was second offense. You got your suspension and a ticket. So I don't know how that's completely written, but for them to write a ticket, they've got to be notified.
Yeah, just the number of fights that I'm hearing about, there's some miscommunication somewhere, that's why I was posing it as a question. Like, I have some questions with them about where the miscommunication is taking place, because something isn't jiving with that, but.
All right. Well, we'll put it off, and if it is our administrators, that's a question from the Board of Education directly to Ken Jay, that you will make sure that they do that. I mean, is it gonna be up to the administrators to pick and choose what student they want to go to the police department or not? We want it to be consistent throughout the district, so everybody understands. So, I don't think, like you said, Ken, I agree with you. We don't know if the officer gets it or not, or if somebody says, hey, we're gonna go a little easy on this kid and this kid. So we want a policy. Is there already a policy on it? We have a policy on it.
Should be in the handbook.
Yeah, the student handbook. It's gotta be consistent throughout. So I think that's more for us to push down the flow pipe to the principals, vice principals, and the administrative staff there.
Yep.
That's not up to the PD.
Well, the question is, how does it read in the handbook?
Right. Well, why don't we get to that? and-
Well, that's, when we bring.
I don't have it memorized, so I can't.
No, me neither. When that comes back, though, we'll address it.
Right.
My whole thing is that bathrooms were being closed during the school day because kids were vaping in them. Why are we closing bathrooms and not issuing citations?
Again,
Like, these-
but they got to be told to, or asked to.
Okay.
You know, I mean, again,
Well,
this,
I don't ask to get, I'm not like, hey, I didn't ask you to pull me over today.
well, but these aren't
But-
arrestable offenses.
Yeah, I got you.
And it's not, it's something that they would have to witness, or it's something that would have to be, where the administrator would be used as the witness.
Okay.
You know,
Right.
they can issue the ticket, but they've got to have someone there to go, yeah, this happened. And so, no, I would venture to say it's probably what I would refer to as selective enforcement, or little to no enforcement by the administrators.
Yep, that adds up.
And we'll have that discussion at our committee meeting in operations about 1, 2, or 3 officers, or however you guys want to do it. So I encourage you to come. And then police need 2 because of the middle school and the high school. So we'll figure that out. Is everybody good with that? Enough on SRO discussion?
Sure.
Fencing at Moorish Elementary. I only got bits and pieces of this, and Ken Jay can discuss it. I know what Bill wanted. He wanted, somebody from the mega site, Economic Alliance, said that they wanted to replace our back fence. It would be I'm just thinking the side though when you say front. It'd be the north and the east side, I believe, of the building. So go ahead, you take it.
If you were walking out of the main office, it would be the fencing as you're looking at the parking lot that wraps around now the vacant land and then over to the playground area.
Yeah.
There's fencing in there that they were looking to replace. It's an older, shorter fence.
The only issue was that they wanted to also take the old sidewalk that, once again, leads to the east, so that the front of the building faces east, and the fence is to the east, or the front of the building. And there's an old sidewalk. I don't even know if it's regulation, but it was probably built in the 60s. It's 3 or 4 foot wide, and it runs all the way, for some reason, to Linden Road, which there ain't no kids crossing Linden Road there. So I don't know if you guys want to allow them to, I don't even know if that's our property or not, but they wanted to take out the sidewalk, put in a new fence, and I don't think there's anything else. I don't think there's anything, diabolical about it, but I don't know. It's up to you guys. You tell me what.
Who is they, the mega site?
Yeah, the
FDEA.
yeah.
Tell them to have it surveyed.
Yeah, we should confirm if that's our easement,
Yeah,
just
we
like
don't-
the driveway, the bus loop, that's.
We don't know who owns what, so if they want to put up a fence, I'd suggest they survey it before we put up a fence.
Okay, we'll let them know that.
I had also asked for pictures because they were saying, oh, it's all nasty and, so I had requested that we see what it looks like. So I would also like to see that.
I think
They're
they'll
not trying to
have-
put a fence up on our property, right?
No, they're just replacing it.
They want to take down our fence, which I'm assuming is on our property.
Right.
And then
Yeah.
replace it. And then, again, without surveying, how do we know that they're putting it back in the
Why
right?
wouldn't we
Putting
put up-
something up in, the correct place.
Yeah.
And my concern also was, we wouldn't have had that sidewalk if it wasn't some kind of an easement. And so if we allow them to fence that off, then we lose, the obvious visual that that is still our property, and it would be very easy for that to just accidentally get pulled into something else. So is anybody using the sidewalk? No. Is it showing that we have rights to that piece of property or that piece of land? Yes. So I don't agree with taking that up.
Not only
For that
that, but it can be used as an emergency escape route if, God forbid,
Yep.
it's, yeah.
Okay, so what's my orders when I go back to operations? What do you guys want me to do?
Survey and leave the sidewalk open. There's nothing saying you gotta put a fence across it.
Right, could have a gate there. I think there's a gate there
What?
currently.
I think they said they wanted to take it out.
They wanted to rip out the concrete.
Yeah, they want to take out the concrete.
Yep.
The fence wasn't around the sidewalk.
Well, so there's an opening that's why I wanted the pictures, because
He had
it's
the-
easier. It's
they'll have the
currently,
There's
it's like a
fence
break.
around it,
There's,
but they want to take it down altogether, is what you're saying.
there's a break in the fence. So the fence goes up to the sidewalk, and there might be a post, I can't remember if there's actually a post to keep, like, motor vehicles from trying to get through there, and then the fence picks back up again, and the sidewalk's in the middle. So I'm positive when they go to rebuild that fence, that's all gonna be, they wanna rip out the concrete, they wanna make that all one continuous fence, like our little section of that just never even existed.
Yeah.
And that's my concern.
Okay,
That makes, but I just, why would we ever allow them to put up any type of fence on our property?
We can't stop them. They can put it up on their property.
On theirs,
Right.
yeah, but it doesn't sound like that's the ask.
We don't even
It
know
sounds like the
which-
ask is we want to rip out your sidewalk and
we don't
put a
even
fence
know.
around your building
We don't even know who owns
on
the
your
fence.
behalf.
we don't even know who owns the fence. Let's not, we don't even know who owns it.
Yeah.
So
It's
let's
been
have,
there for 40 years, it's all overgrown, so if you
Yeah.
guys want it surveyed,
Yeah.
they might want to put that cost on us, and then I'll bring it back to you guys decide what you want to do,
okay,
okay? I mean, it's not a big argument. Yeah. So, I wrote down what you want, I'll contact Bill through Ken, and we'll ask him to do that. Bill did have pictures there. Okay, next board discussion item, school of choice. I think this is just some cleanup, and some numbers that you prepared, Ken. Go ahead, you have the floor, sir.
With the school of choice window closing, process that we followed in terms of reviewing, looking at the pupil accounting manual, ensuring that if any student applied for school of choice, they didn't have discipline that resulted in a suspension within the last 2 years. You can see the data in front of you, the sheet that has 3 different charts on there. Starting from the far left, we have the number of students that have applied for school of choice. You see the number of students that as a result of the lottery would be placed on a wait list. And you also have to see this number of students that we currently know of that have left the district. Just trying to take all things into consideration when making decisions about class placement, making decisions about student placement. I know there was some conversation Mr. Engel brought up in terms of ensuring that we are equitably placing students in the proper area. So I just wanted to bring that data forward for all of you to show some of the information that we're utilizing as we make some of these recommendations for school of choice. You'll also notice that approved from the meeting in terms of the areas that were closed, but also had a conversation about the potential to have some limited availability for grades for students that were interested in sticking around in the district. The issue with that conversation is the idea that the number of students, so you'll notice that the number of students on the wait list, the largest number would be a 6th grade at looking at 11 students that applied because we said they were closed. Everything else is below wait list in terms of the number of students that applied, less than 10, with the most at the 4th grade at 8. Within 4th grade, we did say it was closed, but then we take into consideration enrollment numbers for 26-27 school year. as you take and look over here at the enrollment numbers, this is the enrollment numbers from Power School. These numbers can and will change, I can guarantee that. We are in July right now, we still have an August window of enrollment. You still have students at the youngest grades, E5s, all the way up to kindergarten, that will continue to enroll. You will also have changes at your other grade levels. When we start looking at those areas that we closed versus the areas of application, you start taking into consideration some numbers that are higher than we want, and then start looking at, do we add additional sections? Do we move students around? Do we, within our school of choice? We commented that if they already had a sibling in the district and they were school of choice kindergarten, that we could, as long as the numbers didn't exceed class sizes, we'd move them around a little bit. You can see our kindergarten numbers across on the very far left are pretty consistent with the exception of Gaines, but then we have the additional students. Out of the 47 that have applied, 33 of them do not have siblings. That could have an impact on sections there. Looking at other areas in terms of higher class sizes along with self-contained, have the potential of looking at additional staffing. So taking all of this into consideration, I know it was a conversation Mr. Engel as well as others had in terms of how are we placing students, where are we placing them. I wanted to come forward and share with you the process that we are currently using in terms of accepting students, but also looking at the potential for moving students around. The big statements around it are we don't want to add a teacher because we accept school of choice. We don't, the adding because we have two, I totally understand and I totally agree with that. Adding a section for one student causes issues, causes problems, but as you look at the numbers, as you look at what we have received, you look at the wait list, there will be some potential for some movement. There will be some potential for movement in terms of the number of students within classes, as well as if we get to a higher amount contractually, as well as financially, it makes more, and educationally, it makes more sense to add some sections in. So right now, we have notified the families on the wait list that they are currently waitlisted in terms of school of choice right now. Conversation came back where, what about some of the students in terms of if they were students that our numbers have changed. So we say we're only accepting a handful, but then we have a handful of students leave. It then causes a discrepancy in terms of what we thought we had and what we have. Once again, these numbers are early. There are, in terms of within students enrolling. The reason I bring it up, let's say we were to add, we had a section that was low, we were to add the school of choice, potentially creating a section, another section at an elementary school, so looking at Gaines, currently having 6, adding 33 students to that, because 33 students are the number of students that don't have siblings that applied for school of choice, taking Gaines, then having 2 classrooms at kindergarten potentially, with 19 and a half students in each classroom. If you look at 19 and a half, you are 18 and 19 in terms of class sizes. You then have 3 additional kindergarten students that potentially could also be added to that mix without going over that threshold in terms of numbers in that class. You also look at situations where you have school of choice at Gaines at 36, but you have Elms with higher numbers. Do we look at adjusting some of the numbers from Gaines to Elms to reduce the class size at Gaines? Because when you add if you were to add an additional section at, let's say, for example, Elms with their current number, if you move some additional students out of Gaines, it would make sense to then have an additional section at another elementary school. So just wanted to lay it out there for all of you in terms of everything that we're taking into consideration and everything that we're attempting to do to ensure that with or without school of choice, we have our classroom sections and we're taking things into consideration to look to balance and make them equitable.
So I just want to ask right now, so as you have in this, so on the 3 grid sheet in the middle, you have the approved agreement from the meeting on 4/29. That was our internal discussion that we approved, but that is not what we turned into the GISD because we did have additional conversations. Again, students that had to move for whatever reason and wanted to continue their career at Swartz Creek. So we definitely had some discussion, and I believe many board members were aware of the fact that we might need to adjust those. What is the process for adjusting that? Would we need to do another board resolution to adjust those numbers, or because those numbers were never officially turned into GISD, are they not official? Where are we at right now as far as what needs to be done if changes need to be made to those numbers?
In terms of documentation for the GISD, we have to communicate that we're limited. When you limit school of choice, you have a limited window and you have limited spots. But you also have to take into consideration that limit could be impacted by many factors. It could be impacted by sections that we're adding because our high levels of students within the community. It could be impacted by a number of students leaving the community. So the number of sections that are communicated, and Sue, at any point, please correct me if I'm wrong, we are stating that we are limited. If we want to adjust those numbers, I would need a directive from all of you to say, okay, so we said we're limited, we wanted to stay within this threshold, but because of this scenario, or this scenario, we'd like to expand it a little bit.
Okay, so this wait list has been created as a result of the internal action that
Correct.
we took, as opposed to anything that is done to the GISD. So
Correct.
did we already run a lottery to determine which students would be accepted based on those numbers that we agreed to?
Yes.
Okay. That's what
We had to notify the families because they have a set window
Okay.
where they need to enroll by.
Okay.
You also have students that, we had this conversation, for one reason or another have left the district, but they've been our students forever. So when I say they left the district, they might have lived here for a while, and due to whatever circumstance, they moved, but now they want to come back. So let's say, just for example, you had a 6th and 7th grader. Right now with these numbers, you can see 6th grade's closed, based on our internal conversation. But 7th grade, we're going to accept up to 27. So if I have siblings in the 6th and 7th grade, in order to, when we look at this, in the 6th grade, we had 11 students. In the 7th grade, we had 5 people. So we're still within the threshold, within the internal threshold of 7th grade at 27, but middle school, we have 11 students that want to come. Problem becomes, we're running a lottery for those. We can't pick and choose. We can't say, well, you were here, so we want to keep you here. Now, you were here, but we want to keep you here. But unfortunately, you start looking at the lottery system in terms of you have to run a true lottery. We use a number generator in terms of picking those students. So we could say 6th and 7th grade, 7th grader, you're good. 6th grader, we're going to take those 11, maybe we're going to increase the number up to 6. We're going to run a lottery again. That student that's been here, because of the limited school of choice, might or might not be picked within that lottery to remain here.
So would the lottery restart for all of the positions, or would the lottery be for the newly opened position?
If you were to adjust the numbers in the pink section in the middle of this document, which was the approved within your internal, anything that adjusted from there, I would then look to do an additional lottery. So, like, for example, 7th grade, we're good. But 6th grade, we said we were closed. Now, if you increase that number for one reason or another, you may increase it because you have 2 students that we know of that have left. But remember, the only reason we know a student leaves is because they enroll somewhere else. You won't know a lot of students that have left until the first day of school, second day of school. We're sending information out right now to fax machines. Yes, I know, you heard it from me, fax machines still. You're faxing information to another school district for a records release. Probably one of the only companies in the world or industries that still uses a fax machine, but our copy machines do it for us. But we're asking for records from other places. The other places will be sending us. The only way we're going to know if that number changes for students that have left is if we get that records request. So we know of 2 right now.
I'll tell you, medical field still uses them too. If
We're
that
not
doesn't scare you,
we're
if
not
that doesn't
alone.
scare, if that doesn't scare you, I don't know what will. Okay, so because I just wanted to clarify. So like, I'm looking, for example, if we say 3rd grade, we approved in the pink section 2. So you did the lottery, 4 had applied. You sent letters out to 2. If we expanded that out to 4, because 4 had requested, or let's say we open it up to 3. The original 2 would no longer be in that lottery because they've already received their letter, they're in. It would
Correct.
just be a lottery for the new position that we added, correct? Among the people on the wait list.
Correct.
Okay, that was my first, yep, so I just wanted, I figured, but I just wanted to clarify that. And so do we know how many of the people on the wait list have previously attended Swartz Creek?
Well, I mean, it says in here, the ones in parentheses are the ones that are currently attending.
Yes.
So,
Right, but-
so out of,
Of the waitlisted ones, we don't know
Right.
how many.
well, yeah, because they all go into the same lottery.
Yes, there are students on the wait list that are Swartz Creek students, yes.
Okay, do we know which grades or whatever? Because
Well, okay, so we only did the lottery for kindergarten and third. Kindergarten, E5, and third, because second grade, it was allowed 15, we only had, two
Right.
students. And first grade, we were allowed 20, and we only had 3 students. So we only did the lottery for
Right, so-
kindergarten,
okay.
E5, and third.
But like, according to this, in sixth grade, right? Number of applicants, 11. Currently attending, 3.
Right.
Number of waitlisted, 11, because it's closed for sixth grade, correct?
Right.
But 2 have left. So wouldn't you do a lottery for 1? Or, right? If,
Well, but there's no guarantee.
or no,
that
I'm
one-
sorry, 3 would have had, I got those,
Yeah.
sorry, backwards.
Yeah.
The information about students that have left was not information that we had at the time where we had your initial conversation on 429 or 611. That is additional information that we are gathering in terms of making decisions about where we're placing students and what we're doing to ensure that we have balanced classrooms.
Do we violate the lottery system? I'm sure there's some state law in it, telling us what to do and what not to do with our district. But if I move out of the district and I have a kid in 5th, 6th, and 7th grade, and I move to Carmen Ainsworth, and they've been here their whole life, why can't they stay here? I mean, I would ask Carmen Ainsworth for the release, because I moved in that district now. But I thought we had a lot of discussion here that if any kids were here, we would keep them, because they already attend our school.
Well, that was
Is
our,
Is there some law?
that was our
those-
goal, but that
I'm sorry,
logistically.
hold on, one at a
how
time.
that
I want to try to
Yeah.
understand this.
Yeah.
Those
I'm
ones in
confused.
particular would have to apply for school choice, because they've never had to apply for school choice before, since they were residents before. So that's a whole new thing for them.
Okay.
The other thing is, and this is, kind of relates to your question, because I'm still confused by it. If we accept a school choice student, and once they are enrolled in our district, we are not allowed, I mean, unless there are some.
Suspension or something.
Yeah, discipline or whatever circumstances, they are students in our district until graduation unless they choose to leave.
Right.
So let's say Chuck's, or not Chuck's scenario, but let's say a school choice student wants to come back. Now they get thrown into this lottery, but they were a school choice student last year. How does that work?
No, if they're school choice last year, they're in.
Okay,
They're not in the lottery.
okay,
So,
that's,
so here's my example. My 3 children have been here 5th, 6th, 7th grade. I moved to Carmen Ainsworth. I have to put in for school of choice. I get it, because I have to get a release from Carmen Ainsworth. My brother, who has 3 kids here, who are in 5th, 6th, and 7th grade, so happen, he lives in Carmen Ainsworth, and he put in for school of choice, so his 3 kids are here. Are you with me? Follow me so far? Right, they're already here. My brother then moves to Flushing, and then he wants to continue the kids there, but they're already school of choice, so he gets to keep his kids there. That makes 0 frickin' sense. I don't know who's smoking cocaine or marijuana or something. That makes no sense, because that's the way I'm reading it. So we're gonna punish kids that have lived here their whole life, that their mom and dad had to move for whatever reason, yet a person that only may have been here 1 or 2 years, school of choice, that lives in Carmen Ainsworth, my brother, and he says, well, I want to keep my kids in Swartz Creek, Chuck, and he lives in Carmen Ainsworth, but he moves to Flushing area, but he still wants to keep the kid here. they get preferential treatment over somebody that's lived here the whole 7 years that just moved out.
Yeah, that's the,
That makes zero sense, and I think if we make an accommodation for those people, are we in trouble?
Yep.
Okay, great.
can't-
Who's gonna arrest us or sue us? State of Michigan?
We're not gonna,
We
we're not gonna break the law.
We could lose
I'm
funding.
not saying, I'm asking a legit question.
We could
Because
lose
you're dealing with
funding.
parents and lives here, and you know what, maybe somebody does need to make a stand, because it makes no sense to me. I mean, I just gave you the example what's going on.
Yes, we've had a lot of very concerned parents calling us the past 2-3 weeks.
Okay, so let's
Very.
say with that scenario, so I move out of the district, I moved to Carmen Ainsworth. Bear with me. I took my 5th, 6th, 7th grade, and I'm like, they've been here their whole life, so I put in for school of choice, because I know Carmen has to release them to come here, and they've been here for, 5, 6, 7 years, whatever grade they're in. And if they are accepted, then you have to keep them. But the kid that,
exactly,
Okay.
yeah.
all right. If the lottery system works for them, right? So, and if we make an exception for those kids, we get in trouble by the state of Michigan? Okay, I just want to make sure I'm clear.
Who's state
so I
funding?
don't, or GISD probably, right?
State.
State? Yeah. Yeah, you want to verify the law, what I'm asking. Yeah, me too. Yeah, because I don't know.
I'm not saying it's wrong, but.
Of course, people elected don't have to have any common sense.
We have
just
checked
have-
the pupil accounting manual. We just
Yeah.
checked it today again.
I believe you.
Yeah.
Ken just wants to verify it, and I'd like to read it too.
I
guess.
understand.
Yeah, because I don't know how kid that's been here, in 10th grade, and his mom and dad say, you know what, I found a house on Lake Fenton, I want to move there, it's only a few miles away. He has to reapply, but he's been here for 10 or 11 years. I'm not saying it's right or wrong, I just would like to try to understand it. It's very confusing. Sorry if I confused everybody else. All right, so what are we going to do to fix it then? Do we have a lot of kids that have left that were over our limit?
Well,
Let me ask that
unfortunately,
question.
it looks like the ones where we have the biggest wait list are already our biggest classes. So fourth was already at 284, and we have 8 wait list. So that would put us up to 292. 6th was another one of our big classes at 273, and we have 11 on the wait list. So that would put us up to, where's my line? 284. And then 8th isn't huge, that wouldn't, so my biggest concerns would be 4th and 6th grade. Especially because there's a smaller class in between. It's how much, how big
here's
of
my
a trouble
thing
are we
is,
gonna get
how do
into
you-
by opening, by letting, if we, because the only way to ensure that the kids that we're currently attending Swartz Creek is to increase the number that we're accepting up to limits that would allow the wait list to be cleared. So nobody else is, the window's closed, so we don't have to worry about the number going any higher than this, right?
Correct.
So it's not gonna go any higher than this.
Right.
But the only way to fix it for the kids that have been attending Swartz Creek schools is to increase each of these limits where there's a wait list to clear the wait list.
Okay, but here's the
Can I,
thing.
can
No,
I explain the 4th grade section real quick before
Yeah.
we move on, Autumn, or do you?
yeah, no, that's,
So let's just scenario base. You currently have at one elementary school 2 classes or rooms of 31. At another elementary school, you have a class of 36 that could have school of choice students. You could take those 2 classes of 31 and you could add 7 students to that, which would be 69, and then you could add the school of choice 4th grade students, which would be 8. We are already at a spot where we are close to adding another section. So 31 plus 8 plus another 8, you are looking at 78 divided by 3. You're looking at 3 sections of 26 now, rather than 2 sections of 31. We've had,
But do we know that none of those 8 school of choice that you'd be moving from Gaines to Elms have siblings in Gaines? Where
Yeah.
we'd also have to be moving their sibling?
well, that would be, remember, we have the ability to place students for school of choice. So we could look at those that do not have siblings, and we could identify those.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because my concern is because we're at Elms in 5th grade, we have 2 sections of 30 students. So if we move these 8 school choicer students from Gaines and they have siblings in 5th grade, now we're all of a sudden our 5th grade at Elms are going to be.
No, we wouldn't do that. We have the ability to move students that are school of choice to So we wouldn't move a student that's in fourth grade that has a fifth grade sibling because we already have sections that are high.
Wait, did you just say move kids out of Gaines?
Yes.
I'm sorry.
Well, we already we took some school choice students and put them to Gaines.
Okay. And now
We
we're
said everybody needs
gonna move them
school
back.
choice.
Yeah.
But this would also make
But
smaller
here's the
class
thing,
sizes.
how many of these fourth grade, for example, are pretty close, if not at or over 30 kids per class right now? I'll give you all of them, except for, I mean, they're 29 and 28,
Yeah, more. it's just
except for
over
Cyrene. I'm looking at fourth grade, right?
Yeah.
They're all over. What, but, yeah, let's not just, yeah, that makes no
Right
sense.
now,
Why wouldn't you just create one class and move people to Gaines and create a section?
The idea
Make it
is that
fair.
we don't, school choice kind of fails when we start adding a bunch of teachers. If we have some teachers that have lopsided classes, I'm okay with moving them to make the classes more, yes, smaller, is what I wanted to say, so they could hopefully get a better learning experience. And I'm not hung up on that. I don't know what the answer is, that's why we're discussing it. And we probably should have some type of solution or work on it really quickly. Ken told me that we have 44 children that left our district.
No, 44 that would be on the wait list right now.
Oh, on the wait list. How many kids have left our district that are on the wait list? Do you know that answer?
No, but I can tell you how many have filled out school of choice that were here last year.
Don't want to know that number. I want to know somebody that's been here for a lengthy time that had to move for whatever reason. Like I said, I had to move to Lake Fenton, I had to move to Shiawassee County, whatever it is.
So are we gonna have a big issue, like I'm looking at middle school?
That's the only
Like,
problem I want to fix.
We've got sixth graders, we have a big sixth grade, a big eighth grade, and seventh grade is small. So in order to accommodate wait lists, we'd have to increase sixth and eighth even more. We still don't have anybody that wants seventh grade. Is that gonna cause issues at the middle school if there's such unbalance between the grade levels? Are you gonna have like teachers, you're not gonna be able to offer things because there's some classes that are specific to grades? Is that gonna cause issues?
You'll have situations where one year someone might be teaching a sixth grade math, and when that section increases in the next year, they're gonna have a seventh grade math.
That's fine.
Okay, and everybody's qualified, you don't have any?
You have
kids?
to,
Okay.
yeah.
Teachers
Okay.
are flexible
Okay.
enough to do that.
Okay, and then that was gonna be my question for high school, because we're in the same situation there. I don't know why every other year we're small classes, and we alternate small classes and large classes, because in high school it's the same thing. You go from 210 to ninth grade, and again, nobody wants to come in. We have 10th grade that's 272 and 6 want to come in. Our smallest one, or our next smallest one's 220 to 11th grade, nobody wants into that one, and then 12th grade's.
Well, that's what Ken E said, because he wanted to balance the school sizes, so
Yeah.
this will fix it in the future. So we have to do it within reason, and I don't know why the state makes it so hard for us just to keep our students there. It's only a few, but I don't know what the solution is, so.
I would be willing to say, let's increase our numbers, our accepted numbers to clear the wait list, because we know it's not gonna get any worse than this. Nobody else can apply for school of choice.
I'll do the math again, just to make sure
I'm not gonna fly with that, just
Okay,
because,
okay.
no,
Well, that's why we're
not,
gonna have,
not a chance.
we're gonna have a discussion on it, and we'll vote on it. That's okay.
Yep.
We'll discuss it and see.
Why even make it limited?
Well, we have to start some spot.
We're
and
gonna
we did-
accept everybody, but we're gonna call it limited. I don't get it.
Well, because we weren't sure what it was gonna look like. It doesn't, none of these, I know,
Yeah.
I understand.
But limiting it now has turned into the scenario, and which is always gonna happen, where someone is maybe a renter in Apple Creek and their kids attend here and they go buy a house, and it might end up being in Flushing or in
Yeah.
Carmen Ainsworth.
Yeah, just
It's gonna
across
be
the
a-
border.
Yeah, an always situation.
Well, and I'm concerned because we know of a situation where a bunch of people had to leave. There's a bunch of families that lived along Maple and along Linden, and they were forced to leave. And then there's a lot of people that don't feel, in the surrounding subdivisions, that have felt the need to leave. So we're punishing all those families and the students of those families because of things that are outside of any of our control.
It's like me making a decision and then not liking the outcome of that decision, and then wanting an exception. I get it, I feel bad, I do have feelings. I get accused of making things based on emotion all the time up here, but there is a line that has to be drawn at some point, and right now, I feel like we basically just sugar-coated unlimited school choice, so.
I don't disagree with you, Autumn. I'm just trying to help a few of these kids that have left our district and that. And I didn't even think about what Jenny said, but there was 188 houses sold. That, I mean, I never even thought of that. That's why we have 7 mines up here instead of one. If, I know some people are holding out, but I don't know. So any other discussion out at the end of the table? Andrea?
Can I say one thing real quick?
Yes, ma'am.
Last year, for school of choice, for fall 2025, 2026, we had 189 people apply for it. And this year, we have 133. So that number is a lot lower, just by limiting it, just FYI.
Okay, that's a good thing to know. But Kim, do you have anything? You've been kind of quiet on this. What's your?
I don't know, I guess I feel like, we should have something that allows those students to stay here, even if their family moves to Flushing.
The only problem is then we kind of open the gates a little bit, what Autumn's saying, and it expands the number that we originally agreed to, but I think we have to be a little flexible, but that's going to be up to the rest of the board. So I thought that when I was talking about this 4 months ago, that's why it was such a difficult situation, and I told Wayne directly, if somebody leaves this district, I want them to be able to maintain that child in this district. I didn't know that there's a rule that if they weren't signed up as school of choice, that then they had to reapply and go, it just doesn't seem fair, but that's something we'll have to deal with our legislators and see if that can't be changed or optioned out or something. We're not gonna solve it here. So, any further discussion? Is there any motions or anything you guys wanna do on this? Actually, it's a board discussion item. I mean, we can always make it an action item. It's not like it's anything, but we'll just.
Does it have to be an action item to make a motion or not?
No, that's not true. I mean, you can make a motion right now for anything. I mean, we try to stay with our agenda, the topic item, but at the end of at board discussion, somebody could make a motion. If there was support for it, you have to follow it. That's parliamentary procedure.
I can make a motion to go on break right now.
Yeah, so, it's up to you guys. If not, we can come back to it. I would like to think about it. Do we have any time to even think about it? Do we have 2 weeks or no?
2 weeks, you're having families that are calling Sue continuously, asking, my child's been at X school for this many years, are they gonna be welcome back? So 2 weeks are gonna have 2 more weeks of families.
Okay, I don't want to put any, okay, all right.
So are we allowed to make motions now or not?
You can make a motion.
All right.
As Ms. Autumn said, she's right.
As long as nobody says I can't make a motion, I can make a motion that we adjust the numbers that we agreed to at the meeting on April 29th so that the wait list is cleared. So adjusting all the numbers up so that there is no longer a wait list for school choice.
There's a motion on the floor to clear the former number and raise it 44? You have to have some type of
Yes,
number.
it is 44 total.
44 total. Is there a second for that motion?
I'll second that.
It's been seconded by Andrea Fick. Now we will have discussion on it. The 44, this is my biggest question. The 44 people that we're talking about, Ken, have they been screened yet? I mean, did your yes or no even on those? You have.
The families that have submitted a school of choice application that have behavior, Sue has already gone through and notified those families that they are not able to apply for school of choice because of discipline in the previous. So that would be a suspension within the last 2 years or an expulsion. And you've already notified them. I continue to sign those letters. There's an official letter that gets sent out to them.
Okay. Is that included, have the letters been sent out on any of these 44?
These 44 families,
That's my question.
These 44 families all have no suspensions within the past 2 years.
Do they have any other issues? I know I can't say in public.
So
Did they
We
pass
can't
our?
even look at that.
Huh?
We only can go by their suspensions.
Okay. Okay, further discussion. It was made motion. It's open for discussion. Any further discussion?
Well, I'll just add that it does say that 26 of these, there's 26 students that applied that are currently attending Swartz Creek. So there's a
So
potential
26 of the 44.
There's a potential of, yeah, 26, if we don't increase that, up to 26 kids not being able to continue at Swartz Creek.
Okay, so let me get that right on discussion. Of the 44 number that the motion's been made to raise, 26 of those kids are from Swartz Creek currently, Ken?
Not necessarily.
Or their school of choice?
It could be up as many as 26, could be.
Oh,
We don't know how many. Yeah, that's what I said, because I asked on the wait list of these waitlisted, how many are currently in Swartz Creek, and that is not, I don't think that's a number that you guys have. at this
Actually,
point.
if you,
do have it?
you can just take the 26 minus the 2 from second grade and the 1 from first grade and 1 from ninth grade and 2 from 11th grade.
Well, none of
one
those
from
have wait
seventh.
lists.
Right. That means they were accepted.
Okay, so we don't have, do we know if any of the families on the wait list, if they had previously attended Swartz Creek?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. But do we know how many?
Well, that would be 3rd grade, 4th grade, 5th grade, 6th grade, 8th grade, 4. Like if you look at 3rd grade, it would be, 4th grade. It would be 4 of them. 5th grade, it would be 2 of them. 6th grade, it would be 3 of them. 8th grade, 8th grade, 2. 10th grade, none. Or 4, I'm sorry.
Okay, yep, I get it, yeah, because if it was closed
Yes.
completely, then all of the students that are in parentheses.
That's correct.
how many,
Our current
how many
students.
total do you have, Jenny? I wasn't adding the number.
So
Please.
I gotta look at this, so.
Or I'll do it if we go through it again. I was trying to listen to Sue and look at her.
Actually, I gotta just.
Keep in mind that we did the lottery, so just in the 3rd grade, there could be a student in there that is a Swartz Creek student, because we did the lottery.
Right.
And the kindergarten one.
So the number out of 44 is, again?
I get 19, up to 19 kids possibly,
Okay.
or Swartz.
Well, I think that's a valid number, so the board can make an
About half.
accurate vote.
Up to
Okay.
half of them almost.
All right. Okay, any further discussion? None? Sue, roll call vote.
Chuck Melkey,
Yes.
Jenny Walgast,
Yes.
Ken Engel,
Yes.
Autumn Henry,
No.
Kim Winter,
Yes.
Andrea Fick.
Yes.
Yes.
Motion passes 5-1. Thank you for the discussion. It's very complicated and active, and we'll move on. Approval of it? You want a break?
Yes, please.
Okay. There's a request for a break?
Motion break.
Okay, motion to break?
Second.
Okay, all in favor? Aye. All opposed? We'll take a 6-7 minute break. Thank you. We'll reconvene the meeting. Thank you, everyone, for being patient. Okay, next thing are board action items. I take it approval of SRO contract. You guys going to wait 2 weeks?
I motion to postpone.
Motion to postpone,
I'll second that.
second by Andrea.
I need a date. I need to say a date.
August 12th. is the-
Deal.
12.
I motion to postpone on August 12th.
Thank you, Autumn. Been seconded by Andrea. Roll call vote, I'm sorry, discussion. We already discussed it, so roll call votes. Sue?
She's writing.
That's okay.
Me.
Andrea?
Okay.
Motion made by Autumn to postpone to August 12, 2024, 2026.
Sure, yep.
I wish.
Andrew Fick.
What you smoking?
It's either crack or whatever it was. I'm so baffled by that rule, but that's okay.
What's your answer?
Sorry.
Yes or no?
Chuck Melkey.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't
He's
hear
busy
you.
talking, hang on.
Yes.
Jenny Wagon.
Sorry, Sue.
Yes.
Ken Engel.
Yes.
Autumn Henry.
Yes.
Kim Winter.
Yes.
6 yes.
Okay, next board action item, approval of MHSAA membership resolution rewording. Okay.
Move to accept the membership, the MHSAA
Yeah, let me get
membership.
to my
I
resolution.
support that.
Where's it at? Where's my resolution page at? Okay. Yeah, okay. Motion made by Autumn, approve the MHASSA membership resolution rewording. Be it resolved that the Swartz Creek Community School Board of Education, the revised MHSAA membership resolution as presented. I'm sorry, Autumn made the motion and Andrea seconded. Any discussion? None? Roll call. Well, we already voted on it, didn't we? No, we didn't yet.
No.
Roll call vote. Sorry, Sue.
Kim Winter.
Yes.
Andrew Fick.
Yes.
Autumn Henry.
Yes.
Ken Engel.
Yes.
Jenny Wagas.
Yes.
Chuck Melkey.
Yes, passed 6-1, thank you. Next one's the annual approval for the
No, 6-0, Chuck.
6-0. I apologize. Did I say, what did I say, 6-1?
6-1.
Okay. Well, maybe there'll be somebody down there next week when we appoint somebody. Okay, next one is, I was trying to make my hour and 45 minutes, I'm 10 minutes behind, minus the break.
Breathe.
Yeah. Annual approval of the professional learning, FY 26-27 collaborative classroom.
I have a question on this, and maybe,
Yes.
how many options were explored for, I'm guessing this is professional development, right? Okay, how many different options or classes or whatever were explored, or was this the only one that was looked into?
I can't answer that question. This was something that was set up previously in regards to professional development to continue the elementary school collaborative literacy professional development. These are professional development days where the individuals from collaborative classroom offer professional development for our staff. So I cannot answer what options were looked into, as it was prior to me. The
Okay,
reason it came forward,
Fair enough.
it came forward to the finance because of the dollar amount. I wasn't comfortable just signing off on 41,000, regardless if 20-some thousand came out of 35M. I felt it was important to bring to all of you to show you what that dollar amount was and what was being, what it was for.
yeah, no, I appreciate that aspect of it, I'm not familiar with what else is out there, and this is a chunk of change to be pulling from the general fund.
So have you worked with this group before, Ken? Or
No, I have not. I have worked with other curriculum companies that come in and offer professional development, especially after the adoption of a new curriculum. So we have new teachers as well as established teachers that are utilizing a new curriculum, having professional development from those individuals that are from the company beneficial. Everything in terms of that we do is professional development is beneficial, but that opportunity to have them come in with set days is nice especially when you're launching. As you get more familiar with the curriculum, as you have more curriculum experts because they've been engulfed in the curriculum for multiple years, you then start building those curriculum experts within your community, within your schools. But those first years out, when you're adopting a new curriculum, if we're really gonna have that focus on fidelity, if we're really gonna have focus on that tier 1 instruction, having those professional development opportunities for the staff is extremely
Yeah,
important.
yeah, I'm not arguing professional development in any way, shape, or form. It's more so just
This company.
how many are out there? Ms. North, have you ever worked with them? I know you're a new curriculum.
So this is the company
No,
that we
okay.
have the curriculum through. So we didn't pick a new company to do
Right.
professional development. We adopted you adopted the curriculum,
Mm-hmm.
and now you have set forth of bringing those experts that are in charge of the curriculum coming in to deliver the professional development.
And so we pay staff to attend professional development. We paid for the curriculum and we paid for classes. I mean, this is just something I would have appreciated to be in the upfront cost of the curriculum. That's just me, though.
In the future, I can ensure that
Yeah.
that is done, but like I said, this was something in terms of curriculum and looking at the, moving forward.
Yeah,
It's something I can evaluate with Dr. North this year. If they're interested in coming back in future years, it's a conversation that her and I can have, as well as our coaches, as well as our principals, as well as our staff. Was it beneficial? Did it have an impact on what you were doing in the classroom? Does it have an impact on student learning? We can evaluate all of that.
Yeah, it's more so transparency with the upfront costs and all of these, I'm gonna call them add-ons at this point. Like, it's presented as grant funded, it's beautiful, it's this, it's gonna improve whatever. And then it turns out, oh, nope, we need more money for that. Oh, this is gonna be a yearly professional development cost that is not gonna be funded fully by.
Well, I imagine it depends on staff changes too. Like, we've had a lot of staff leave and we're bringing in a lot of staff, so we wouldn't have necessarily known, last year or 2 years ago when we first approved it, how many people would leave.
Right.
So how many new teachers would need to be included. So I'm sure that this is partially based on our current numbers of staff and how many people are familiar with it.
That's a whole different cost when we issue stipends for professional development.
Right, but some of these classes are some of these courses are for educators that are new to this program. And so if we've hired external teachers to fill positions for people that have left, then they aren't necessarily going to know at the beginning of the implementation, hey, we're going to have 5 second grade teachers that are going to need to be.
That's a great interview question too, what kind, but just say it.
So I totally agree with you, but I can also see, I can see the other side of it where you don't know exactly what kind of staff turnover you're going to have, and you're not going to know, obviously, one person might pick it up very quickly and not need additional coaching, and another person might need some additional coaching with it. So until you get the people in there trying to teach it, you're not going to know what questions you're going to have, how many questions they have. So I can see how that can be. But it would be nice ahead of time for them to say, we anticipate that in year 2, you're going to need somewhere between 20 and 70 hours of additional professional development. If it's 20 hours, it's going to be this. If it's 70 hours, it's going to be this. So I definitely agree, being more upfront or being more transparent upfront would be nice, but I can also see how you can't always predict.
How much of this is coming out of the general fund? Is this all of it?
Some of it's grant funded.
So this amount is grant funded, so take that less that.
Okay, so it's about
41.6.
50/50.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, that was my big question. All right.
This goes back to the conversation we had the other day about going over budget.
Yep.
When the budget is a moving target, it's pretty easy to say that you didn't go over budget. When someone purchases curriculum in the future, this has nothing to do with our current superintendent. When someone purchases curriculum in the future, I would be willing to say, if I ask everybody out here, do you think teachers are going to retire next year? Yes. So you would know that the next year, you're going to have to start this curriculum from scratch from the new teachers you hire to replace the retirees. So this is a foreseen issue. It's not an unforeseen issue. This isn't someone died, This, you know someone's gonna retire. So when these things are negotiated and these things are purchased, these topics need to be addressed then, not come back and, well, we got new teachers. Well, wow, that's a shock. We have 200, 180, whatever teachers. People are gonna retire every year. So, in the future, when we negotiate these things, this should be negotiated into the price. And this goes back to, like I said, to our topic of, did we go over budget? Well, I guess, depends on how you look at it. If you negotiate a new bottom line, then you didn't go over budget. And we're going over budget. We go over, same thing with the baseball diamond. Did we go over budget? Yeah. So yes, we do go over budget. It's a continuous thing, and it's, when people are negotiating these things, you need to look at the foreseen issues, and foreseen issues that people are gonna retire. So this is gonna be a problem every year.
But when it's brought to us, right, how many other things that maybe don't cost 41,000, but maybe cost within the superintendent's limit,
Or the bottom line, that he had the courtesy to bring it to us.
Right, exactly.
He didn't have to bring it to us.
How many other things get swept?
Right.
Yeah,
And again, it goes back to, do we go over budget? And the answer is yes.
right, okay,
So I
yeah,
agree with what you're saying, and new personnel is a foreseen topic. That's, the sun's gonna rise in the east tomorrow, people are gonna retire next year in June. So let's, when we negotiate something like this in the future, let's have that put into the paperwork.
Agreed. Okay, yeah, and they can probably anticipate how much turnover they have on average, so. Yeah. But next, thank you for bringing it, Ken, to the board. So any further discussion? Okay. Good points. Be it resolved that the Swartz Creek Community School Board of Education approves a request for professional learning sessions supported collaborative classroom being a reader for $41,600.00 for the 26-27 school year to be funded by 35MM grant and the general fund as presented. Sue, roll call vote.
No one-
Oh, I'm sorry, nobody voted? Oh, I
So
thought-
move, I will.
Okay, I apologize.
Support.
Support. Motion by Andrea, seconded by Ken. Any further discussion? We've killed it, so let's, hopefully we'll vote. Any more discussion? We had good discussion on it. Good. Sue, go ahead.
Jenny Walgast.
I'm bad.
Yes.
Chuck Melkey.
Yes.
Autumn Henry.
no,
Kim Winter.
Yes.
Andrea Fick.
Yes.
Ken Engel.
Yes.
Thank you. Passes 5-1. I'm used to having 7 people here. All right, next one is approval of the Executive Director of Curriculum, Instruction, and Continuous Improvement Contract. This is kind of we resolved to hire her last meeting, and Ken brought me the contract, and I asked him, and he says, yeah.
Was that D, Chuck?
I'm sorry?
Did you do D?
Yeah, it's D. That's the one we're doing. Did I skip one again? Oh, okay.
I don't know, what you said isn't what's written there.
Approval of Executive Director of Curriculum?
This says not a union administrative contract for curriculum.
This one says it a little bit different, the second one with the blue on the top.
Yeah, well, we actually have one contract, and then we're going to have a second one for the interim HR director, I believe. Because we voted to hire him, and Ken tried tricking me to sign him. And and I said, I don't think we voted on their actual contract. And
Oh, so this is for the curriculum and HR person?
Yeah, yeah.
And it's their contract?
Yes, because we hired him last board meeting.
Yep,
But
gotcha.
we never officially approved the contract, and let's do it the right way.
So pick
yeah.
one and let's do it.
Yeah. All right,
I motion, sorry.
okay. Somebody, did you motion?
Would you, well,
You want me to read it
will you
first?
entertain a motion?
I will entertain a motion now, and then I'll,
Okay.
be it resolved that the Swartz Creek Community School Board of Education approves the contract of Aaron North, Executive Director of Curriculum, Instruction, and Continuous Learning, Swartz Creek Community Schools, as presented.
So moved.
Okay. It's been motioned by Ms. Henry.
Supported by Fick.
Supported by who?
Fick.
Okay, I can't hear that down there. Okay. Supported by Andrea.
She's talking
Any further discussion? Thank you. Roll call vote, please, Sue.
Autumn Henry.
Yes.
Kim Winter.
Yes.
Andrea Fick.
Yes.
Ken Engel.
Yes.
Chuck Melkey.
Yes.
Jenny Walgus.
Yes.
6 yes.
Okay, motion passes 6-0. Next one is approval of interim human resource director, his contract. Be it resolved that the Swartz Creek Community School Board of Education approves the contract of John Mertz, interim human resource director of Swartz Creek Community Schools, as presented. Same problem last time. We approved to vote him, but we never did the contract, which is,
We'll combine that in the future.
yeah, we'll be good. Yeah, we'll just combine them.
I'll move it.
It's been moved by Autumn,
Support.
supported by Ken Engel. Any discussion? No discussion? Okay, be it resolved that Swartz Creek, I already said it. Go ahead and roll call vote, please, Sue.
Jenny Walgus.
Yes.
Kim Winter.
Yeah. Yes.
Ken Engel.
Yes.
Autumn Henry.
Yes.
Chuck Melkey.
Yes.
Andrea Fick.
Yes.
Okay, passes 6-0. What do we have left? Board stipend pay. Approval of board stipend
Now,
pay.
hang on a minute.
Yeah.
Hang on a minute. Take that word stipend out of your mouth. That is not
Okay.
a stipend, that
You're
is
right.
our compensation.
I can do that.
Yep, but it says stipend, and I don't like that word. It's our compensation for being board members.
Anybody have a problem if I strike that word?
No, it's in the bylaws as compensation.
All right, I'll reread it then. Approval of board compensation. Pay. Be it resolved that Swartz Creek Community School Board of Education approves for, is this why it's blank here for the names? Sue?
I just wasn't sure what you guys had decided. I wasn't sure what you guys wanted to do with it, so that's
Okay.
why I left it blank, so you could discuss it, and then I'd write it in, whatever you wanted.
This is what.
So
the
we need to do it for all four.
This is what you.
For Holly Jarvis, Alicia Bouchard, Ken Engel, and Jenny Wolgast.
Yeah.
Correct.
Yep.
There should be an amount attached to it, though, if we're gonna do it for.
To equal a balance of 1,500. They were all paid something different.
Yeah.
All right, so I'm gonna put in there, be resolved that the Swartz Creek Community School Board of Education approves, help me with it again?
$1,500 compensation pay for board members.
No, it has to be the
It
balance.
would actually be
balance.
3,000.
A balance.
It would be 3,000 because each of us were paid.
Oh, okay.
No.
So,
You want a total amount that's gonna get paid out, or you want to say up to $1,500? They need to be paid the difference of what they were paid, up to $1,500.
Correct.
Okay, I was just saying
guys
that the
were
total should be 3,000 because each of us were paid half.
No, not necessarily.
You get
We
it.
weren't? Okay.
no,
They prorated it.
It wasn't half.
you got way less.
So each person in the position, I thought they added up. I didn't do the math
Yeah.
yet. I thought they each
No,
added
'cause
up
it-
to 15,
They do. So whoever's term you took over plus
plus yours should
Yeah.
add up to.
15, so it's a total of 3,000 additional.
It's
Well,
not,
actually, did we though?
what was paid out was $2,875. What was
For
paid
who?
out? The 750, the 1125, the 625, and 375. So 2,875 is what was paid out.
Then how come, so somebody got real shorted?
Well,
I
because,
think Ken got really shorted.
well, it's because they,
It should have been Holly,
You
he and
got
Holly
theirs in
should have
25.
each gotten the same
You'll
amount,
receive
because
another
well,
one.
if,
you have to remember there was a month overlap. You know what I mean? So if it was broken down by month, it's going to be a little bit. They were gone for a month, they weren't here for a month, so really it's like a 4-month overlap.
Ken Engel, who started here.
I'll just make sure everyone gets $1,500.
okay.
There you go. Wasn't that hard?
Okay. So help me with it now that you guys have argued it out down there?
Not argued out.
Okay, discussed it.
Clarified.
Everybody should be made whole. The 4 board members should be made whole to a total of $1,500.
Right.
Right.
So be it resolved that the Swartz Creek Community School Board of Education approves 4 board members to be made whole up to $1,500
Each, yeah.
each, prorated for their service.
You want their names listed?
No, I know.
Thank you.
Moved.
It's been moved by Autumn Henry and supported by Ken Engel. Any further discussion? None, roll call vote, please, Sue.
Ken Engel.
Yes.
Jenny Walgus.
Yes.
Chuck Melkey.
Yes.
Autumn Henry.
Yes.
Andrea Fick.
Yes.
Kim Winter.
Yes.
6
Okay,
yes.
motion passes 6-0, so they can be made whole for the partial terms. Okay, so we're done with our board agenda items. We'll go to public comments. Yep, thank you, Ken, for helping me with that. Anybody would like to come up and state their name and residence, and you have 3 minutes, and Mr. Travis will start the clock.
Hi, can you hear me? Yes.
I think speaker's on.
I'm Leah Davis from Mundy Township, and I think it was a couple weeks ago I was here. Time flies. And I did talk about the sidewalk, actually, that I live right directly across from Morse Elementary School from that sidewalk. And I am here to tell you that it is a lot easier for us to cross before the intersection. There is no safety indicators there for a crosswalk at the intersection. It's super busy. And there are kids that do use that sidewalk. The school has families on the east side and also on the north side. There's a subdivision across on the north side and also a line of homes all along Linden Road. So even though they demolished the west side of Linden Road, there's still plenty of homes on the east side. And so it's a public asset. The kids go and they use the playground and the sidewalks, the drive, they ride their bikes, they use their scooters, they play basketball. We walk our dogs. This is our recreational area. That's why we want our school. It's our character. It's a place where we can go, and there's no sidewalks on Linden Road. So this is how I personally get over to Maple Road and use there's about, a mile's worth or a half a mile's worth of sidewalk. There and back, it's a mile. And so we need our exercise too over there. But another thing is that the homeowners would help to trim those bushes. And since they destroyed the property on either side of the sidewalk, the neighbors aren't there to help take care. And I was wondering where the groundskeepers of the school, how come they're, maybe they're not using, the kids are not using the sidewalk now because of all of the demolition going on. As a matter of fact, I crossed it the other day just to see what it was like. It was like walking into Narnia. But it does need to be trimmed up, and I don't give an inch to the non-government organizations of your property. Keep that sidewalk. The public will appreciate you for that. And also, with all of the demolition dust going on, I see it every day. And as a matter of fact, I have to hide in my home and keep my windows closed quite a bit. So it might be a good idea for you guys to talk to the FGEA and have them test the playground equipment to make sure there's no contaminants. The kids do in the summertime, even though they're not there now, in school session, they're still using the playgrounds. So, and if there is contaminants, make them pay to clean it up. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else from the public?
Good evening, Michelle Grosier, Elms Road, Swartz Creek, resident most of my life. Anyways, first of all, I want to thank the board for declining the offer from the Flint and Genesee Economic Alliance to purchase Marsh School. I forgot to thank you at the public hearing. But I do want to urge the board to exercise extreme caution before approving any request by an outside organization to alter taxpayer-owned school property. What may appear to be a simple fence replacement, if that's all it is, unless they purchase the sidewalk too, could have broader implications since it is connected to redevelopment plans. Once changes are made to district property, they can become part of a larger process that may be difficult to reverse. Even if the purpose of this request has been shared by the Flint and Genesee Economic Alliance, let's remember that its members have used secretive and coercive practices to take over the Mundy Township megasite property. They're not idiots. They've bulldozed a lot of people. No change, no matter how small it may appear today, should be approved if it has any potential to limit the district's future options weaken the district's authority over public property, or compromise the long-term interest of the taxpayers who own it. So, that's all. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
My name is Gerald Roberts, live at 4487 Lindywood Drive, Swartz Creek, Michigan. I live in Flint Township. I live on the north side of Maple Road in Lindenwood Farms. Approximately about 2 weeks ago, maybe 3 weeks ago, the corner house was still standing, and there was 3 or 4 other houses still standing on Maple Road. In other words, in Mundy Township. At that point in time, we had a big windstorm, about 40 or 50 mile an hour winds. They had demolished that house on the corner, and there was a big dust storm that went up, and it goes northeast. Now, we're kind of protected by that woods that's on the corner there, but my wife had eye surgery. And at that point in time, she was out working in the yard, and the next day and everything like that, and she had had cataracts removed. Her cataracts were not bothering her or anything like that. It was okay. But various people in our subdivision after that started having burning eyes, myself, and a lot of the other people. The priest down in the corner that lives on Hyde Park in London. So all that dust and everything like came down and settled into our particular thing. Now, Leah had pictures of when the kids were playing out in the playground and they were demolishing the houses right across, and they made them stop that. They said you can't do that during school hours or anything like that, so they held off. Well, the other day, I went to my doctor's office with regard to a hearing, and the gal works right across the street. She says they demolished 3 houses right across, but they got 1 house there that's still standing. And they got some sort of a deal out there. And she said that there was probably 6 or 8 people in white suits, hazmat suits, walking in and out of that. Now, I found out what they did is they said that there was hazardous material or something in that particular house. And it's still standing. If you go down Maple Road, you're gonna look at it and you're gonna see that house. And it butts up almost right directly in back of the school. So you're seeing that. So we, across the street, are noticing the demolition and the dust blowing over and bothering our eyes in our subdivision across the street in that subdivision. What do you think it's gonna do to the school and all that dust and everything when the kids come back to school and they've got a hazmat deal? The gal said that it was real unusual because a couple of those houses, they had that big gong right up to the garage door when these people were coming in with these white suits on in there. There's hazardous material in those houses. Now, that's only one that they tagged. How many more that they destroyed that they didn't do that to? School's got to look into that.
We will. Thank you.
It's a hazard to the kids if they're going back to school. Thank you.
Hey, Brian Jones, Swartz Creek resident. On your discussion today about the school of choice, I want to tie that in with Ken's comment that there are things that are foreseeable. The problem you had was foreseeable. You ask people, you look into things. You don't just say, oh, well, we don't want school of choice. Because what happened here is it ended up punishing people you didn't want to punish. Oops. So maybe take a real good look at what you do before you do it. And then you don't have to say, well, we're just going to eliminate these. Effectively, you took all the kids that wanted to come here. Theoretically, I'm sure there's more. I'm sure there's others, but they were like, hey, it's limited. We won't get in. We'll have to do this lottery. But, you know, I don't know. And then you come up with this thing. Apparently, one school section has 36 kids and the others have less. That's a little bit much anyway, so we might want to look into doing what Mr. Janzarek said and open up another section, move some kids around, decompress that teacher. While I'm sure those teachers probably, because we have some very excellent teachers, could handle that, they shouldn't have to, because every time you overload them, it does take down the quality of the other kids' education. But by limiting school of choice, I know you're saying, well, that's what we're trying to do. If the building's empty or if the building has room, you can put kids in it. The only cost, basically the building cost is there. What you incur is cost for new teachers. So obviously, yeah, if you had to get new teachers, but then you do the math like Michelle Paul laid out for you, gave it to you on a silver platter that says, after this cost right here, these kids are a net gain. So do that math. Do that math and think about it. That's that. And the other thing, I don't know, the board needs to talk about conflicts of interest and some other things. I mean, I don't mind that, you know, Jenny got her stipend or compensation, Ken got his compensation, the others got their compensation. It's pretty bad form to vote on your own compensation. So that's kind of a conflict of interest thing. You guys talk about what other people have done before, but yet you come up here and do it today. One of the people you are suing, you apparently voted on her contract. I wasn't here. I thought, yeah, surely they won't screw up on a contract, but you did. That opens things up, and I don't know how you're going to explain that as anything but retaliatory from your perspective. So anyway, y'all have a nice night. Take care.
Thank you. Anybody else from the public? Okay, thank you. Board comment? Okay, Ken?
Sure. Well, we'll just start where that left off. As far as us voting on our compensation, and we actually set our own compensation, and that's common with just about every board. That's our job, is to vote and set that. When that got changed to an annual pay, we used to do $25 a meeting, and it was bumped up to a flat rate a year. We did it then, and we'll do it now. That's very common. Reference to handbook. I don't know what you want to do with it, but I think the board as a group made it pretty clear that homework's going to have some value, first grade through 12th grade. And I don't really think it should be us that determines that value, but if we get put into that corner, we can and we will. So over the next 2 weeks, maybe the building principals and new curriculum specialists and you can come up with something that would make sense. But homework can't be an option. It's not optional. It's already almost optional the way that attendance is done. It's no fault of our own, but it's almost that attendance is almost optional, which we can't control. The homework we can, so think carefully when we bring that handbook back. I had a conversation the other day, and I'll apologize, this may be lengthy, I'm gonna do my best so it's not. I had a conversation with the attorney that's representing the district and the 7, for lack of better words, defendants in this lawsuit. Her and I had a lengthy conversation, and I have some issues with the way SCCS is handling this, and it may take us with a board action tonight. After talking to her and looking at that, I don't believe that one attorney from SCCS can represent all of the defendants fairly, which that's their gripe, not mine. But it is my gripe that I don't believe one attorney can represent the district fairly when there are a few of the folks in that their direct behavior is an issue. So I'm going to ask the board that we make a motion tonight to direct SETSAG to give the district its own attorney, and if one attorney wants to defend the other 7 people, that's their prerogative. They can make that argument on their own. But I don't believe that the district can be given its due defense while that same attorney is defending some people there that blatantly violated the law and violated our board policies and has created this lawsuit. So if you want to call her and talk to her, feel free, but that's one of my issues with it. I think the district should have its own attorney by SETSAG. Second thing, I asked her that she should report back to, in this case, one of the board members is not here anymore, but I asked her to report back to the other 4 board members, Kim, Jenny, myself, and Autumn, in reference to the status of what's going on with here. Obviously, our attorney may have some hiccups in speaking to the plaintiff in this scenario, which would make sense. And I would hope that the attorney is already talking to all of the defendants and keeping them abreast of what's happening. However, the board is clueless. How many of you knew they went to court last week, or this week?
Not a
No.
clue.
No. The board is being left in the dark. And so I have a huge issue with that. I asked her to report either to the entire board or at least us 4 board members and keep us in the loop. She told me she was going to report to the superintendent, and I said, okay. I said, well, you'll report to the superintendent, and I said, till we change that, and you're going to report to us. Because I said, ultimately, you work for us. So that is the second motion I'd like to make, is that we direct SETSAG to report directly to the board. And, because, again, there was a hearing. You know what happened? No, me neither. And I even talked to her after the hearing, and she made the choice not to tell me what had happened. So I have a huge issue with that. And I will say this, she asked me, she goes, what is your resolution to this? I said, I want it to go away. I said, I don't care how. I said, we've had enough trouble and everything else. I said, it needs to go away. I said, however you guys see fit, it's your issue. They're the insurance company and they're also the representatives. So does anyone here have an issue with not knowing what's going on?
Yeah, and I also have an issue with the fact that she's asking just you how you want to see it end up. And none of the rest of us were
Right.
asked that same question.
Yeah, that's your attorney, God love her. But she's got more paper on the wall than I do, so she's obviously smarter.
Okay, you're saying how many, okay, there's people named. You're saying individual attorneys for everyone named, and then one.
I don't care about them, no, the district.
Okay,
Just
so
the
just
district.
one representing the district. Everybody else is responsible for their own.
They can argue with SETSAG, get their own attorney.
Okay,
Because not everybody shares the same culpability in this. And if you had 3 defendants on trial for murder, one attorney cannot defend all of them. Especially if one decides to testify against the others. So everybody, in my opinion, they should all have their own attorney from SETSAG. But that's just my opinion. But as a district, I think we should have our own attorney because there's some of these topics that some of the players in this acted outside the scope of their authority, not only physically, but also, like when I say physically, I mean outside the district, but also here in the district, they acted outside their authority. And, and that, there's 3 in particular that I very much so did. So I'm not sure we can make them do it, but I would at least like the motion in place. I know we can make them share the information with us.
Well, yeah.
We should absolutely have our own attorney also. I do agree on that.
Yeah. I think, yeah. Are we covering anyone else's legal expenses?
They're all covered under the insurance policy.
Okay.
And unless it gets proven they acted outside the scope of their authority and their job, then they can be sued punitively.
And then we weren't given any information either.
Right, we don't have, there's been other action in this per her, and it has not been shared with us.
So I almost think that we need more information before we can even decide like how many, like where this needs to be divided, because I don't really I don't understand the whole situation either. I've heard little bits and pieces, but I obviously have not received an update from the lawyers and have no idea what the current status is, anything like that. So I would like an update from them so that we can better identify where the division needs to be. I definitely agree there should be a division, but I don't know where to begin saying what that division should be without knowing the landscape.
Yeah, because I'm not going to say conspiring, but.
I'm not concerned about,
Yeah.
and this is no offense to any of the seven, I'm not concerned about their deal, I'm concerned about the district.
Exactly.
But I think each one of them should request the same thing. And that's why we pay insurance. You know, that we haven't missed a payment. So, you know, our employees and past employees and board members should receive good legal representation along with the district. So I don't know, Jenny, if that's something maybe you want to follow up with her on, because she basically blew me off to the superintendent, and I politely told her, I said, they sued the school district. I said, we represent the school district. I said, there's been zero communication with us, because I was very, very, very irritated that they went to court last week, and none of us knows they went, and none of us knows the outcome of what took place. Don't even know what the topic was. Could have been everyone's favorite color, but I don't know.
So I'm assuming because this is an insurance policy that's providing these lawyers, there's some kind of a contract. So has anybody seen the contract, know what the contract looks like? Because I'm assuming there's something spelled out in there as to their obligations for how many different attorneys they're supposed to be providing, who their point of contact is supposed to be, all that information. So if we don't have the contract, we don't know what we've agreed to and what we're purchasing from them, basically, because we're purchasing the service from them. We don't even know what we're purchasing right now.
Right.
So they could be in breach of whatever contract for what we've purchased from them. So it might just be a matter of enforcing a contract, or it might be a matter of asking for special terms in this case. We don't even know. We don't have enough information.
When I get bored later this week, I'm gonna call back and talk to her boss.
So, yeah, so my direction is, Ken, can you find if there's a contract that we have with SETSEG or some kind of a policy or some other kind of documentation that might spell out exactly what it is they're supposed to provide to us and who they are directed to communicate with?
Anything else, Ken? No. Okay, Kim?
Oh, I'm good.
Miss Jenny?
I apologize for being late, so I don't know if this was already covered, but I just wanted to say thank you to Carrie for her service, and I also wanted to bring up the fact that we need to appoint a new academic achievement committee chair, since that is now vacant. I'm not volunteering for the position, it was something that came to me that is something we should probably handle tonight as well, since I don't know if I guess we do have one more board meeting before the next committee meeting is scheduled, but it might be nice to give that person more than a couple of days.
What if the appointment wants to take it? What if we appoint somebody and,
Okay, that's fine. I just brought it up as.
Because that's, we kind of did that in all of our other appointments. We kind of waited till we appointed somebody and then we're like,
Okay.
yeah. But that's just how things have been done, but.
Okay, that's
And I'm also not trying to take it.
Okay, Autumn?
No, I got the emails about opinions, Open Meetings Act violations. Again, I don't want to be I really don't want to be the one who has to keep bringing it up. Otherwise, nothing gets brought up. So, last I knew, it was going to be sent to the attorney to review. Is there anything else, any updates on that one, Jenny? You were handling
Yeah,
that
so
case?
I had so we did receive the information back from Troon about their opinion on this. So I have access to the same information you do. That's exactly what I have as well.
Okay. So that was for nothing, or is something, like, why did we send it to Troon if?
There was question about the interpretation of both the Open Meetings Act and FOIA laws. There were different opinions as to how those would be interpreted. And so we asked for Troon to give us an opinion on their interpretation of it. So we did receive that back.
Yeah. And it reads the same as the law. I mean, that was my understanding of it anyway. So is that concluded, or are you, time to, because I know we just got that email today.
Right. And
Okay.
I looked through it briefly. I did not
Okay.
get a chance to really look through it.
No, I just wanted to say,
Yeah.
some things.
So if you had a chance to read.
I don't like
it,
kicking the can for too long before the can, whatever. That was pretty much all I have.
Okay, thank you, Autumn. I want to,
Can I interrupt for 1 second, Chuck?
yes, ma'am.
I did notice at the beginning of the agenda, it says we're approving the discipline hearing minutes from July 7th. It was actually July 13th.
Okay.
So I don't know if you guys want to vote again, or that was the consent agenda, or I can just make the change in my minutes.
I think you can make the change as long as it's posted
Okay,
appropriately. I think we're okay.
okay,
Does anybody have a problem with that? As long as the board's fully aware of it.
okay.
And
I'll make the
She's making that
change.
change, yeah. That's okay, Sue. Thank you, Sue.
Mhm.
I want to thank our 2 new administrators, I believe 4 new school teachers. Thank you for choosing our district. This will probably be our shortest meeting ever in life, although we didn't make it all the way there. Yep. As far as, Josh Davis actually sent me an email today and said he was going to appeal his FOIA request. So that'll probably be on the next meeting. We'll have to make either a special meeting or do it ahead of our normal meeting on August the 12th, right?
Mhm.
Okay. And as far as I have anything to say, I think we're good. I mean, we had a good discussion. Yes, Kim, go ahead, I'm sorry.
I forgot to mention, I would like to tour the pool. I don't know, I was wondering if we should set that up this summer before school starts? Or, I mean, maybe we don't need to pick a date
You
tonight,
can,
but.
no, don't pick a date tonight. Why don't you have Sue and Ken coordinate with that?
Yeah, because I'm sure
And
somebody's
then,
gonna have to be there.
I don't even know if it's, I mean, Ken said, open to the public, and I don't care who tags along with us, but it's more of a fact-finding, operations thing, and Ken E. brings up a lot of good points, because that pool's been going downhill, and we've ignored it. So, Ken, did you want to say something? Ken J.?
I'm good with taking board members down. In terms of the public and everything, I would want to have some, it's a non-public area. It's
Yeah.
it's an area with a lot of water right now. That would be my only concern in terms of liability.
Maybe we can do groups
We
of
could do
three.
two
How's that?
separate
We could do
times.
groups of 3 board members. I know Ken's already gone. He could do a round 2 if he wanted, if he really wanted to hang out with Bill and I. I would want Bill Loader there with us because he can explain a little bit more in terms of the information. But I'd be more than happy to before a board meeting, during the day. Next week would be out. We don't have availability for that, but the week after that, be more than happy if you wanted to contact Sue to schedule some things, even if it was just one person or multiple people at a time.
Okay. I think we can make that happen. All right. That was comments and questions from the board. We're going to go into closed session now, if that's okay with everybody. I'll read the OMAs. Everybody ready?
We're just going to have two separate motions to go into closed session.
Yep. Closed session to consider exempt material OMA 15.268, Section 8, Paragraph 1H, to consider material exempt from discussion or disclosure by state or federal statute. And we'll vote on that one first, and we'll do the other one too. So, or should I read them both together? What do you guys think?
No, okay, I'll
Separate.
move.
I think we're going to go separate, would be better.
So we need a motion second,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
I'll
Who
make a
motioned it?
motion.
I'm sorry. Jenny?
Jenny.
Okay, who seconds it?
I'll second it.
Thank you, Kim. All in favor?
Nope, you got to do a roll call for closed.
Okay, roll call. Sue?
Andrea Fick. Yes.
Kim Winter,
Yes.
Autumn Henry,
Yes.
Chuck Melkey,
Yes.
Jenny Walgast. Yes. Ken Engel,
Yes.
6 yes.
And we'll go into closed session for the purpose of negotiations, OMA 15.268, Section 8, 1C for strategy and negotiation sessions connected to the negotiation of a collective bargaining agreement of either negotiating party requests a closed hearing. And I take it they requested a closed hearing.
I'll move it
Okay.
to go into closed session.
Support.
Okay, moved by Autumn, supported by Andrea? Okay. Roll call vote, Sue.
Ken Engel,
Yes.
Chuck Melkey,
Yes.
Jenny Walgast. Yes. Autumn Henry,
Yes.
Kim Winter,
Yes.
Andrea Fick. 6 yes.
Okay, we'll move into closed session, and we'll come back into open session when we're done with that. Basically, the meeting's closed. Thanks to the public for attending. If any of you want to stay, you're more than welcome to when we get done.